Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whatever time of day you're choosing to watch this, thank you for tuning in. I'm Jacob Avillion, and I am joined, as always, of course, by my good friend Brayden McClellan. Brayden, how you
What's
doing,
up?
man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you
Awesome.
doing?
I'm feeling like Terry McLaurin right now back in 2012 because I hate doing the fucking dishes. I just did the fucking dishes before we hopped on here. So feeling like Terry McLaurin today, but that's okay because I
You ham
did.
scrubbing?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them, my dishwasher's running right now, actually. But everything that has to be
Okay.
hand scrubbed, I hand scrubbed it, and everything that can be dishwashed, I dishwashed it. So,
Dope.
we doing the dishes, but I finished. I just got to wait for the dishwasher to finish, but I held up my end of the bargain, so I'm no
Yeah.
longer feeling like Terry McLaurin. Um, I feel good. I feel good. I'm happy to
Yeah,
be here. Excited to
that's
get
great.
into it. It was not the best week for either of us, football wise, but you had a
Football wise.
pretty eventful week beyond football. So tell the
Yeah.
folks, the good folks listening, what did you do?
So I went to a commercial gym for the first time in a while these last 2 days. I was able to hit some machines because usually I'm just using free weights.
Right.
But I'm out here with my brother-in-law because I'm out of town right now.
Yeah.
And
Hell
why
yeah.
am I out of town?
Why are you
Because
out of town, Braden?
my sister just had a baby.
Let's go.
New generation of the family. Your boy is now Unc.
Unk. Unk
I have
pushing
told
30
her
over here, man. It's time to settle down.
Unc is about to turn 21. Unc's not
No,
even
no,
21.
Unk's. If you're an Unk, you're pushing 30. I've been an Unk since I was a teen, so I've been pushing 30, going on fuck, like 8 years at this point. I know he's at least seven. He
Yeah,
might even be eight by now. I think he turned 7 in March. So,
yeah, yeah. I told my sister to he's either gonna call me Unc or just Brayden.
and she's not too
No
happy.
Uncle.
Not too
I don't think
happy
she
with
cares
the
too
with the
much.
Unk. Okay.
She rolled her eyes, but she doesn't care too much. But yeah, her labor was long.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, this is how dumb I am. When they said labor, I always thought that was just like the pushing,
Yeah.
and it's not.
No, going into labor is like as soon as the water breaks. At that point, I'm pretty sure.
It can even well she was I think she was technically in labor even before it because she was getting
Okay.
induced.
Okay. Fair
Um,
enough.
yeah, but yeah, I think if it's just like a natural like when the baby pops out, usually
Yeah.
like, I guess breaking the water is what normally
Yeah.
is the indicator for it. But she was in the hospital for a while. She's in there
Yeah.
for the actual labor part. I think she was in there. She was definitely there overnight.
Yeah.
I actually spent the night in the hospital with her.
Nice.
Uh, because she's pretty much bedridden, really immobile. So
Yeah.
I was just running around the room helping her. I mean,
Just
her
hanging out,
husband
you
was
know.
there too.
Right.
I think I was there. I think I did the movie like helping her with stuff early in the night, and then when I passed out, he kept waking up and coming away, like waking up, going to sleep, waking up, going to sleep. So later
Yeah.
in the night, he was doing that. But yeah, eventually the little baby popped out. I'll just say his first name, Grayson. Little Grayson popped out. Got a
Hell
lot of
yeah.
pictures. Really cute. He's really cute.
Yep. There was
But
that
yeah,
the picture that you took of you standing in front of your sister and you were doing like the getting
yes,
ready to take
football.
the snot the
That was a
shot the
shotgun.
shotgun snap. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
But the beginning of this trip was like an 18-hour car ride from Texas to South Carolina.
Yep.
And so this is the first recording session where we're in the same time zone.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Eastern time. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
6:59 in the PM for you as well. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
So awesome, awesome. That's
but
good
yeah.
stuff. All around good stuff.
Friday I go back.
We've got a future athlete coming into the family. Blood's gonna be an elite football player. He's getting a scholarship.
Well, his
Already
dad played
predestined.
lacrosse, and lacrosse is now in the Olympics, so maybe he'll be getting trained for that.
You're right. As of
And
2028,
his
lacrosse will
and
be
his
in the
dad was
Olympics.
good. His
Yep.
dad was good at lacrosse too.
Yep.
Did get a scholarship to go to play at college.
Fuck yeah.
So
If
we'll
only
see
he
where
played a
we'll
real
see where that
sport, but
goes.
that's okay. Um,
Hey, it's in the Olympics now.
it is. It's awesome. I actually do have a lot of respect for lacrosse. I think lacrosse is
Yeah,
pretty cool. It's just
but
fun to
yeah,
say the word lacrosse.
major
Major.
week in my life.
Uh,
Major week. So anything? exciting go on with you?
Not a whole lot outside of just I was started getting back, and I also started going to commercial gyms again. I got a membership
Hmm.
at a gym close to where I work. It's like directly on the way home. Um,
Big crunch hours.
yep. All right. Well, no free sponsorships. You weren't supposed to say the name, but that's okay. I'm just fucking with you. Um, no. So yeah, I got a membership at the Crunch Fitness close to where I work, and I hit push pull legs last week, which is my standard rotation.
Hmm.
And
Right.
I just did some cardio yesterday when I went, and I didn't go today because I had to do the fucking dishes. And there were a lot of dishes.
Oh
And
yeah.
also, I think in general, I want to make Tuesday my rest day so that I have more
Hmm.
time for, just the recording and being able to fit other things along with the recording. Because, of course, our sessions are
Yeah.
like 2.5 hours long for the most part. So,
I mean, we're here for like 3 hours.
yeah, usually because we talk a
There's a
bit
little
before and we
prep and
talk a bit
post.
after. But
Yeah,
as far as like, but so in general, I like having more time
of course.
available to me throughout my evening and late afternoon. So I think in general, I probably won't be working out on Tuesdays very much. But with that being
Makes sense.
said, I mean it's nice. I'm having fun. That's about all my only update. I guess my mom's coming over
Yeah.
again this weekend. So
Ooh,
shout out mom.
Mama Jacob.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I might be car shopping here pretty soon. Because as much as I love my motorcycle, it's just not the most convenient form of travel. When I mean,
No.
there's plenty of advantages to it, especially like in traffic when you're like behind somebody that's really slow, you can very easily pass them without having to worry about like how big your vehicle is because it's just like riding a bicycle in the sense of you know exactly how big your vehicle is. But depth perception isn't really required as much on the motorcycle. But I mean, my depth perception's
Mm,
pretty good
makes
anyways.
sense.
So, but yeah, other than
Mine's not. It hinders my parking. Am I close enough? I can never tell.
yeah, parking I guess is not necessarily my strongest point either, but my depth perception is definitely better in motion than it is at rest.
Right.
Uh,
Makes sense.
but yeah, I think regardless, I'm gonna be doing something old like a beater Honda, like something that's just like unkillable. Because you
Yeah,
see
okay.
Hondas running for 300,000, 350,000 easy. You know what I mean? Just with some like light maintenance here and there, and the parts are cheap. So we'll see what I do. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's about all. I don't have much else to say here. Do you want to discuss
Look,
the massacre that
yeah.
occurred on Sunday Night Football? Good sir.
Yeah, I guess we'll start this off with like, if I could be loud right now, I would be, but I'm not alone, so I'll keep it down. But if I could be loud, I
Yeah,
would just be screaming the F
we
word.
can
Like,
hear
I would just
the
be,
the crickets actually. So
oh,
verified, you're
okay,
not
cool, cool,
alone. I
cool.
do hear crickets.
That, well, yeah, I'm outside as well. That adds to it.
Yep.
But what I told you, like, I could stomach a close loss.
Right. Which is
Told you
what
I
I
could stomach a
expected.
close loss. But I told you what I could not stomach and what would make me give up on the season
Yes.
was a blowout. And that
Yes.
is exactly what happened. And it's so much is going to be made about Dak. Dak, I am he's he's not the guy.
Dak's not the guy.
I've been defending him for so long. He's not the guy. I think one of the biggest problems is I think to work in the NFL on the offensive side, you either have to have a special quarterback or a special play caller. And right now Dallas has neither.
Right.
So it's technically not all Dak because he's a capable quarterback,
Right.
but I've seen enough of Dak to roll the dice with another quarterback. And with this upcoming quarterback class and having Trey Lance on the bench, like we have shots, like reasonable shots at the quarterback position to be taking.
Mhm.
I'm so done, honestly, with Dak that and this is going to sound crazy, I do genuinely want to play Trey Lance.
I don't hate that because I mean you see what you have, and if he's not the guy either, like you said, it's a loaded quarterback class. Go take your pick. There's a ton of guys here who could be real
Take
difference
a pick.
makers.
And if near, whenever we pick, we have the choice of a traits guy or a guy who's been a multi-year starter.
Yeah.
Honestly, take the multi-year starter. That's it's kind of it seems like that is being like the big thing right now with quarterbacks coming out with how quickly they're succeeding and how well they're succeeding. Brock Purdy, multi-year starter.
Yep.
C.J. Stroud didn't play as much as Brock Purdy, but got
Played
first
two
of all
full
played for
seasons.
Ohio State,
Two full
two full
seasons as
states
well.
at Ohio
Yep.
State, so that might be weighted a little more as well.
Yep.
So I genuinely am ready for a big change at the quarterback position, and Mike's got to go. I'm ready to get rid of both.
Yep.
Mike is the one that to go. I can understand like keeping Dak and getting a new offensive coordinator
Yes.
or a new head coach that would be an offensive guy. The thing that scares me and what I want. I'm not even talking about the game much. I turned it off partway through
Right.
when I think when George Kittle scored his third touchdown. I was like, I can see where this is going. I'm not subjecting myself to this,
You
so I
shouldn't.
turned it off. And it's the Niners Cowboys rivalry. Historically, it is a rivalry, and I don't know how quickly historic rivalries like fade off and
Yep.
stop mattering. But this rivalry, I thought it wasn't a rivalry because of how much the Niners just own us these past couple of years.
Right.
But then like George Kittle wears like the fuck Dallas shirt, so I'm like, okay, it means something to him and probably that team as well. So maybe it is still a rivalry.
Yeah.
But it's not a rivalry based on like competitiveness.
Right.
I guess it is still just the writing off the historicness of it, and I don't know.
I think
I don't know.
rivalries have as much meaning as you choose to give them as a fan or as a player in terms of like even if it's been one-sided for a long time, especially
Yeah.
if both teams are in competing mode, like if both teams very obviously have like championship aspiration. Like the best example of this I can think is when Alabama played at Tennessee last year when Tennessee had just come off the road win against LSU and just beat the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the rivalry is called the third Saturday in October because it's always played on the third Saturday in October, and we play Alabama next weekend. Of course, we play your Aggies this upcoming weekend. But
You'll win.
Alabama had beaten us, I think, the last 15, 16, 17 times, whatever it was.
Bam.
But because of how well Tennessee was performing, this rivalry was finally getting hyped up again for what it used to be, because this used to be like the biggest SEC rivalry at one point, and one of the biggest rivalries in all of college football. At one point, back
Yep.
in like the '90s or so, this was huge. But of course, over the last 2 decades, it had been all Bama. But Tennessee, without even winning, they did go on to win the game, of course. But without even winning, just showing up to the game as a 5-0 team, that game garnered a lot of attention because now all of a sudden it feels real again because both teams are in a window where they could realistically compete for something. So
Mhm.
I think like again, like I said, Kittle wore the "fuck Dallas" shirt. Like clearly, it
Yeah.
means something to Kittle because I mean, obviously, they beat Dallas in the playoffs last year. Dallas has hopes that Dallas made changes in the offseason. They were hoping that changes were enough to put them over the hump and win a Super Bowl. But like I said, like games like this for when both teams have those kind of aspirations, even if a rivalry's been somewhat one-sided, it can fuel the fire a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah, and because of how good our defense, has been elite,
Right.
and I don't blame the defense at all for that loss. The offense kept putting them in terrible positions,
I actually want to
so
make
I
a
don't
point
blame
about
them.
that later on in the
Okay,
yep at some point.
but the defense is good, but now we're like, okay, Trayvon Diggs is out, and now Leighton Vander Esch is going to be missing time, which is a big loss. He's like the brain of that defense. Um, I think we can still run back most of that defense next year. So we need to start making big changes right now.
Yes.
Like I think give our offense, whoever our offensive coordinator right now is, give him play calling duties. Try something new out.
Yeah.
Play Trey Lance. I'm dead serious about it. Please play Trey Lance this year, and like genuinely meaningful football games. Let's just see.
Yep.
And then come draft time, truly evaluate quarterbacks. Um, I would hope, because there has been talks about a Dak extensions. I don't know if you can hear the plane.
What's that?
You couldn't hear the plane?
I don't think so though.
Okay. But yeah, but there were talks about Dak's extension. Don't extend him,
Yep.
especially for how much the money is going to be being talked about. Do not extend him. See if we could, I don't know, do it. I think he has a no tag clause, and I don't know if I'm trying to think. I would assume since we're talking about an extension, he probably still has a year left for next year on his contract, maybe
Yes.
two. I don't know how many more,
Yep.
but
Probably at
like,
least this season and next season.
look into a trade.
Yeah.
Look into a trade because there are teams that
There
will
will be
improve with
takers.
Dak Prescott
There
at
will be
quarterback.
takers.
There will be
100%. There will be
takers and
takers.
teams that genuinely do get better. He is still a capable quarterback,
Yeah.
but I am done with him.
Yeah.
I am done with him. I'm ready for something new.
Right.
I just want to try Trey Lance, maybe draft a quarterback, just start taking shots at that position again, and start moving forward. I mean, Jerry Jones is good at drafting. He is good at building a roster.
Yeah.
So the whole like, because people like put a certain amount of time on a Super Bowl window, you never actually know how much time you have.
Right.
Especially because we will be extending Micah Parsons. The defense will
Guaranteed.
always at
Guaranteed.
least
There
be good
is
enough.
no. There
It
is
will always
no.
at least be good enough for a Super Bowl.
There is no shot Micah doesn't get the biggest of bags this offseason. Right. So.
Micah, we have Deron Bland because he like just drafted him, not this previous draft, but the draft before. He's good at corner. We have him. Trayvon Diggs will come back. The ACL injury, maybe a year difference. Speed was also never really like top speed was never really his thing anyway. But
Yeah.
give it a year to
Yeah.
fully come back after
He was
that.
always
I'm not worried about him.
a good, not great athlete, but I mean that's not his game, so
And
it's not the biggest
my
issue.
my perfect off season would be getting rid of Mike McCarthy, hiring like Ben Johnson as our head coach, and Ben being able to keep Dan Quinn. If that would
Yeah,
be magical. If we pull that off,
yeah.
that would be the perfect off season for me. That is what I
I
truly want
my
with
biggest
new
my
quarterback.
biggest fear for Dallas is if Mike McCarthy does get fired, they just go ahead and promote Dan Quinn. Which I mean, I like Dan Quinn as a defensive mind, but I don't like promoting because that's literally the same principle as what you did with Mike McCarthy. It would be the exact same plan for the most part. I mean, if, in terms of like
I
take a
wouldn't
guy
hate it.
who washed out with his old team and then make him your head coach. Like I don't like the process. You know,
I mean, I think Dan Quinn is coaching right now the best he's ever coached, even anywhere else. I think it's the
yeah, and
best he's
I
ever
think
coached
I think he's
anywhere.
grown as well in terms of
Yeah,
like
I
his
think he could be a better
tendencies
head
and
coach, but I just I don't know. There is hope that he might be okay with just staying as a defensive coordinator since he didn't leave last year when he was one of the top candidates because of how good he was on the defensive side.
yep,
So there is a chance where we can hire an offensive mind, an actual offensive nine, and not ever what the fuck Mike McCarthy
yeah.
is,
I think it's a
and
conversation
and
Jerry
keep Dan
Jones
Quinn.
would like. He would sit down with him and tell him like, hey, this is a
Yeah,
real possibility. What would you want to do if this were to happen?
yeah.
You know, like
Dan
if
Quinn needs to be in on the conversations about head coach,
yep,
and he just needs to be he needs to continuously be paid the highest coordinator, maybe
yep,
period, just highest coordinator. I don't care what side of the ball, highest coordinator in the
yep.
NFL, especially because of what Micah Parsons says about him. And Micah
Highest,
Parsons is good enough
yeah,
that you pay Micah top dollar and you do whatever you can to keep his coach in the
yeah.
building.
Highest paid non-head coach of any
Yeah,
staff. Yeah, I would say. Um,
yeah, and he's earned it because he is
he's awesome.
excelling at
He's awesome.
what he's asked to do. He's excelling at it.
Yeah,
That is also the other reason I'm not overly worried about the injuries to defense because I'm like, okay, Mike is healthy and we have Dan Quinn.
yeah,
We can move. It still hurts and it stops us. Like, I mean, after the Diggs injury, I was like already kind of like, okay, I thought we had a chance to be an historic defense. That's probably gone, but we'll still be a top defense in the NFL this season.
yeah,
But Van Der Esch being out, it's like, okay, I think we'll still be good on defense. We have Micah, DeMarcus Lawrence, Dan Quinn. We'll
yeah.
be good, but it's not going to be what we thought it could be at
Right.
the start of the season. But I've said everything. I'll just recap everything super quick.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm done. I'm done with Dak. Play Trey Lance. See if he's good. Draft a quarterback. If Trey Lance isn't showing enough,
Right.
fire Mike McCarthy. Do whatever you can to keep Dan Quinn. Ideal hire would probably be Ben Johnson of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, which he's got to have.
Crazy suitors.
Yes, and the biggest fear if you're Dallas is how badly does Ben Johnson want Caleb Williams?
That is exactly yes,
Yeah.
entirely. He'll
How?
have the pick of the litter. the thing that could help him out is our defense is still in tight. Even if you're an offensive guy, you're like, well, I know that defense will get me the ball and be good.
Yep.
It's something to. It's not a Caleb Williams. It is not Caleb Williams enticing,
Yes.
but it's still something there. And you can also be like, well, I could quickly, maybe my first year, be the head coach of a true contender.
Right.
So those are the two things we have going for us, and he's going to be thinking long term. All the top offensive coordinators are going to be thinking long term.
Right.
But only one is going to get put with Caleb Williams. So even if we get the second best guy out there, it would still be a massive improvement over Mike McCarthy.
Right. And there's a lot of really good coordinators in the NFL this year.
Offensive guys just seem to be flowing
this
at a
season,
crazy
this
rate.
has been a good season for if you're an offensive coordinator. Because I mean, like obviously the guy who makes all the headlines is Matt Canada because he's just historically terrible at his job. But it makes you forget about Canales in Tampa or Slovic in Houston, like what some of these guys are doing. What Canales is doing to revive Baker Mayfield's career and like making him play within his skill set. And like that's like I always love that approach with coaches of like, hey, show me what you can do. Tell me what he can do, not what he can't do. I will make use of what he can do, and we'll win games that way. And that's what Tampa's doing. And Stroud has looked really good. The
side like this will be like an intermediate. This will be like an intermediate conversation in between Cowboys because I'm done with Cowboys talk. We'll move on to Titans talk, but just a quick like intermission conversation here of like if you're so let's say that. We don't even think we need to name a team, but like head coach vacancy, team with the number one pick. What coordinator would you want? Would you want Ben Johnson because he looks so good, or are you wanting? I forgot his name, but the Houston coordinator because
Bobby
you're seeing
Slovic.
what he's doing with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Are you seeing like okay, he's doing so good with a rookie quarterback? Would you prefer him?
I think this is Bobby Slovic's first year as a coordinator. I think Ben Johnson has the proven track record of like, okay, he's done this for a few years now, and he's been just phenomenal. And I think players are going to really respect that he wanted to stay in Detroit for another year, despite the fact that he was not easily, but he was the top candidate last offseason, right? Like it was him, D'Amico, and Steichen in some order, but he was bare minimum the third best candidate last year. And
I would have him one just because offensive guy, that is what you were leaning towards, and then I think he was doing. I mean, the Lions still had a good roster, especially on the offensive side. But I just look at the Eagles roster as being a better one, so I would lean towards Ben.
Right. But even then, I think players are going to respect the fact that he wanted to stay and build something in Detroit for another year, even though he could have easily walked into a head coaching job. And really would have had his pick as far as what job he would have wanted. So, I think in general, like, excuse me, goodness, when Ben Johnson decides he's going to be a head coach, he's going to be a damn good one. Hopefully that's this off season because I'm just really excited for his future. But yeah, like I said, like, especially I want to see Ben Johnson with Caleb Williams, man. Like that is like. Just call
football
it.
fan in me.
Right
that
there.
Is what I want to see.
Right, like
obviously Dallas Cowboys fan in me. I want him coaching my team,
and you want to somehow trade for Caleb Williams.
Well, in the realm of possibility, like Ben Johnson's still possible.
But,
Caleb Williams, I think 2 wins might already put us out of it.
But the
or three wins.
Yeah, but you're right. The football fan in me desperately wants to see Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams on the same team because like that's going to work. But before we get into Titans talk, I wanted to talk about how you said you don't think the defense played poorly despite the fact that they put up over 40 points on you, and I agree with you. And I think,
and hold on, I guess I should also mention from what I saw because I did tune out partway through, but from what I had seen, the one George Kittle touchdown that was anyways, go ahead into your
what I've
point.
Experienced as a Titans fan, and what I've seen in, of course, other games around the league, it is very hard. Even no matter how standout your defense is, it is incredibly difficult for your defense to sustain that level of play on every single drive when your offense is constantly going 3 and out, constantly turning the ball over. And your defense is going to get exhausted.
Short fields.
They're going to get exhausted because they're always on the field. They're tired. They are tired of having to beat blockers every play, cover a guy every play who they don't know what route he's running until he runs it. Yeah, that's why corner is the
And just
hardest job in the league, is
when they
because the wide
when
receiver
the
gets to his spot
offense
before the corner does.
and when the offense causes um, turn the ball over or do whatever and allow such a short field
Right.
with how smart some of the offensive coordinators are now, one good play and it's that short of a field, like there's the defense
It's a
is done.
touchdown. It's a touchdown. And then
It's a
and then
touchdown or they're so close that they genuinely
yep.
just get 3 shots or maybe even 4 shots at the end zone.
And
Realistically,
they're gonna
like
slam it
it's
in at one of
impossible.
those.
Yeah,
And I think it demoralizes the defense too to have to
of
constantly go out
course.
there and do their job. And I hear people complain like I just experienced it this week, and I can bleed this into Titans talk right now. We gave up 165 yards to Zach Moss.
Okay, if we're bleeding into Titans talk, I'm gonna see if I can turn on
Yep,
these lights real quick.
you're good. Um, we gave up 165 yards to Zach Moss, and Tennessee, of course, is known for their run defense. We saw it the past 2 seasons. We've seen it all year so far this year, and we've just been we've been abusing opposing teams' rushing attacks. And now T.R. Tart was out in this game, and he is, of course, our best run stopping defensive lineman. He's our starting nose tackle. He's one of the better nose tackles in the league. He's generally one of the more underrated players in the league, and he just mauls dudes in the run game. He'll often tackle players through an offensive lineman. Like it's impressive to watch. But
Uh,
missing T.R. Tart in this game was brutal, but I that's not
hmm.
the only reason we let it. You don't get lose. You don't go from
I
like
thought
averaging 2.8 yards per carry to letting up
right.
165 rushing yards because of one player.
I kind of assumed, and then he got hurt, but I assumed that having a rushing threat quarterback plus two
Yep.
extremely good, or one that had been playing extremely good, and then Jonathan Taylor coming back, like two really good running
Yep.
backs, rushing quarterback. I thought that the rushing defense would look, or at least the rushing numbers,
Yeah, would look a
rushing
little better
defense
than
numbers
they
would look
had.
look worse.
Or look well, yeah. The Colts of course would look better than most teams would, but it was reasonable
Yeah,
to assume with Steichen's also just a wizard, so it was reasonable to assume Indy would have more success than Cleveland or New Orleans did, or the Chargers for that matter. But Cincinnati had some success; they just didn't stick with it because they were down the whole game. But uh, but I mean that was just we got absolutely gashed. And yes, the run defense was bad in this game, and Christian Fulton once again was hilariously bad in this game. But
did you try to say he was better than Diggs back in the day?
I think I may have said that when they were in year two. Yes, because of all the I think well like on like a play to play basis, Fulton was a much more consistent player in year two. But of course,
Mhm.
Diggs, was the more high risk, high reward in
Yeah,
year two. I didn't say that in year three or year four for
I,
that matter.
I think you said it year one as well.
Well, year one, both of them were barely played. I didn't really say I didn't have any opinion on Christian Fulton year
Well, I
one
think
because
just
he
I
played
think
like
draft.
five
I mean,
games.
you're joking, but I think starting from draft
Oh, when
time,
they
you were
when
just
they
like,
got, I mean, Fulton was a better prospect. I thought pretty clearly, just based on what we saw from both. Because what happened to Diggs in college was even worse than what happened to him in year one, where it was like he was just getting abused out there for the most
hmm.
part. Um,
We
I
should
didn't like
reunite him with Sertan. That's what we should do for him.
no. Sertan needs to come to Tennessee. Actually, well,
No, no, no,
hang
no,
on
no,
now, hang on now. So let me get to Sertan needs to come to
no. Okay,
Tennessee if something happens. Let me get to that. But
okay.
so this is somewhat of a reaction to this game, and also looking ahead, like what needs to happen if if depending on this next game's result. But like I said, what I was trying to say about defense is how their mistakes are emphasized when the offense
Mhm.
isn't playing well. Now Tennessee's
Yeah,
offense played better than the 16 points they put up. The passing game was really good. There was some like Derrick Henry missed a touchdown pass to DeAndre Hopkins, which is pretty funny to say Derrick Henry missed a touchdown pass because
yeah. I saw
what
that.
is that man doing throwing 20 yards down the field? But
Fuck.
honestly, it wasn't the most inaccurate throw ever. D Hop was still able to catch it. He just couldn't get the toes in because it was overthrown a little bit. He got the
Yeah,
first toe in.
yeah. I
The
saw
second
that.
toe
As
he
a D
just
Hop fantasy owner, I was
yeah.
locked in on that play.
But I did tell you the production was going to start coming, and he still had 140 yards in this game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm talking to boys. Yeah, yeah. Just talking to my friend.
Gay section. Dang, you got the fucking setup.
Yeah.
And a microphone? Get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here. You dead ass?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, he said boys.
Yes.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
What a guy. Well, shout out Brayden McClellan for real.
Yeah, that's my brother-in-law.
Yeah, I figured as much. I didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't think that was just some random guy.
It's just a random dude pulling up.
Yeah, what a guy. So, in general, in this game, I mean, D Hop had a. This game, I think, like I was kind of starting to feel this way, just based on like the fact that he always made plays when we needed it throughout the first four games. But after this week, I'm ready to say he's still a wide receiver one. Honestly,
Yeah.
I know Indianapolis
Yeah.
doesn't have the best group of corners in the world. Obviously, Isaiah Rogers, they cut him after he got suspended for gambling, and then Dallas Flowers tore his ACL, or no, his Achilles, excuse me, he tore his Achilles after in the last week's game. So they were obviously they're starting Julius Brents and somebody else at corner, but I mean, not ideal to have two rookies starting as your two outside corners. But and of course DeAndre Hopkins just absolutely gashed them. And in general, the chemistry between him and Tannehill is reaching Kyler Murray levels of chemistry that
Mm.
DeAndre Hopkins had. Like there was a play in this game where everybody was covered, and Tannehill doesn't even look at Hopkins. Tannehill looks at the linebacker standing near Hopkins and then looks further to the left. Hopkins sees what Tannehill's doing and starts running to the right. So Tannehill clears out the linebacker while Hopkins starts running to the opposite side of the field, and he gets wide ass open because both of them knew what the other was going to do in that situation.
Mm.
Like, and this is only week 5, so there is some, reason for optimism for the Titans passing offense to keep growing as the chemistry between Ryan Tannehill and his new favorite target keeps growing. And we have this guy for 2 years, by the way, so we're gonna see this next year too. I'm excited.
Cool,
Um,
cool, cool.
yeah,
I have
but
it. Trade
um,
him.
Tyjae Spears first career touchdown in this game. That
Yeah.
was my
About
fucking.
time.
That was my Super Bowl, right there.
Yeah, I saw you post
That
that.
was my Super Bowl. 19-yard touchdown is a great play call by Tim Kelly. Um, but like I was the point I was trying to make was that while the offense played better than the points they put up, the red zone offense was pitiful in this game. The only red zone touchdown was
Well,
that
don't
Tyjae
get me started
Spears.
on red zone
Yeah,
woes.
oh, I know you guys haven't been very good either, but like I
We
said,
didn't even get to the red zone.
but that goes hand in. But and well, when you have been this season though, your red zone offense hasn't been very
Yeah.
good.
Haven't
But
done shit with it.
excuse me, but when you can't match the Colts in points, the mistakes that your defense makes are going to look a lot. Where the people were blaming this game entirely on the run defense, I'm like, dude, they only scored 23 points. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
defense did not play that bad, even despite the rush yardage. Like the defense wasn't terrible. They only gave up
yeah.
23. The issue is the offense couldn't match them. The one time we took the lead, Indy took it right back on the very next drive.
Mhm.
So
And this is with AR going down,
yeah,
which is a whole other conversation.
yeah. What
AR
if
keeps
if
going.
Anthony Richardson plays in this game? I mean, who knows how it goes? Maybe it goes better for us, but more than likely it goes worse for us because
He's looked good even
no,
in like clutch time.
he has
So
absolutely. I'm not, this isn't Richardson's shade. I've always been a fan of Richardson, but
he's gone out like 4 out of his 5 games.
yeah, I just need to. I don't know how a 245-pound guy is this frail. I guess from an injury
It's
standpoint, but
it's just bad luck because like sometimes it's like
yeah,
I remember like it's like it's different injuries as well, so it's not even like
yeah,
something compounding. Like it's concussion 1 week,
yeah.
lands on his
Well,
throwing shoulder
the
the other.
concussion's obviously not his fault. Like you can't blame a concussion on somebody being injury prone because it's a fucking concussion. But
Yeah.
like so that's
The
not
other
his fault.
problem is like how we got hurt this last week.
It was a
I can't remember the
routine. It
exact,
was a routine tackle. Just Harold Landry just tackled him, but he happens to land right
yeah,
on his shoulder, and now it's
but
out
it's
for
just
a
like
month.
the type of play that he was trying to make is like why you drafted him as high as you are. So it's like,
Yeah.
what are you supposed to? What are you supposed to do? Tell him to change his play
He's
style
supposed to
when
make
it's the
plays with
reason
his
you
legs,
drafted him?
especially as a rookie who's had some accuracy issues this season. Which he was looking accurate in this game. I think he was 9 for 12 when he went out.
He's looked good anytime I've seen
Yeah.
him play.
Oh no, I mean in general, his accuracy has been
Inaccurate.
on
I
and
just mean
off.
even
Yeah, he's
inaccuracy.
very
I'm seeing him make some
inconsistent. But
throws.
well, oh, absolutely. But even then, for a quarterback whose arm has given you a little bit like of you're getting some great throws out of him, but then you're also getting some misses. He should be using his legs
Yeah.
because it adds an extra dynamic to your offense. So
And
like you
you would
said,
think he could take the hits given his
given
size.
his side. But I mean, I think I'm with you. I think it's more. I don't think this will be a trend in his career. I think
I
he's just
don't
had
think
a
so either. I
rough.
think it's just really bad luck
Yeah,
to
I think he's
start.
just had a rough
But
stretch of games where it's like his.
but as a fantasy
Unfortunately,
owner,
his.
it's getting
Well, as
frustrating.
a fellow fantasy owner, I agree with you because in previous weeks he's been able to put up points before going out. He didn't even reach 5 this week, I don't think.
Yeah,
So
we'll get into that.
yeah. Oh, I know. I'm with you.
We'll get
I'm
into
with you.
that.
I'm with you. But
I also had one of the worst like guys on my bench that should be on my bench.
yeah.
You could probably say if you can remember who I have and like what I've talked about.
Yeah.
You could probably guess, but I don't know if you would remember just on the top of your head.
You don't have DJ Moore by chance, do you?
No.
Okay.
No. Oh my God. I played DJ Moore though.
I know
I
a
played
couple,
DJ Moore
I know a couple
against
people
DJ
who
Moore.
I know a couple people who had DJ Moore on their bench.
That's tragic. Although we'll get into fantasy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. We'll finish that up later. But
I'm passionate about it.
yeah. I got moral victories. Nick Folk is still perfect. In fact, he was our MVP in this game. He was in his bag. I think he had like 3 or 4 field. He's also my personal MVP. He made me money this weekend.
Mm.
Because I had a bet going where it was like Nick Folk hits the over on his fantasy points, which he shattered, and then also Lamar Jackson hits the over on his passing yards, which at one point I got a little scared because he hit the over and then it went back under because he threw a negative completion, and then I'm like, and then it stayed there for a while because I guess that probably happened on third down, so it stayed at 198, and I'm like, you need to get back to 201, Lamar, like. Come on! And what didn't help is that the Ravens pass catchers had 7 drops in that game, including multiple deep touchdowns, or at least one deep touchdown, but multiple touchdowns. So I was like, Lamar Jackson would have had like 500 yards if they had just caught all these balls, but
I know.
and they would have won easily.
Also, as
but,
a Lamar fantasy owner,
yeah, well, and as a Lamar fan, like it sucks seeing
yes.
Nelson
Lamar,
Aguilar drop a 40-yard touchdown.
in terms of people in the NFL, Lamar is like on my top 5, top 3. Love Lamar.
Future Cowboy.
Oh my God, what I would do.
Oh my goodness.
Because then that's a quarterback that, hey, with that and then the defense, that is Ben Johnson enticing enough.
Well, just keep in
Maybe.
mind there was a time this offseason where the odds were almost higher for Baltimore to be a Titan than they were for him to be a Raven at the start of the season.
Yeah.
So I was really convinced, like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna have Lamar on my team, and then I didn't have Lamar on my team. And then the Titans at one point had higher
You got
draft
mail,
odds
man.
for Anthony Richardson than the Colts did. I'm like, fuck yeah, Anthony Richardson's gonna be on my team. And when I saw the trade come in at number 3, I was waiting to see that Titans logo, and you wouldn't believe my shock when I found out it was Houston of all teams coming up again.
And you
I'm
were
like,
like, what
didn't
the
you guys
fuck?
just fucking pick? What are you doing? And then it was Will
Which-
Anderson. Yeah,
It's working out.
Oh yeah, Will Anderson's awesome and CJ Stroud's awesome. It just sucks they don't have their pick for next year. But I mean, if they keep
But
playing well,
they're,
it's not.
they're
gonna
winning
hurt, so-
enough to where it doesn't
Well, they're
matter.
2-3, but I don't. They're gonna finish with like 7, 8, or 9 wins.
They'll
I
be
think,
out of
so.
like, I don't know. They'll be playing well enough, and CJ Stroud will be looking enough where you go, okay, we're already out of range of Caleb Williams anyway, so we already really like what we're seeing from our quarterback.
It'll be
if
like
this is worth it.
It'll finish like somewhere between like the 14th to 11th overall pick or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
So
Well, I don't know.
there's still a
The
chance they can win
AFC
the
South
division.
is crazy.
So
I don't
they
know
could
what's
still-
going to happen
They
there.
could still win the division. Like I'm not ruling anybody out. I'm just saying.
Win the division. I'm trying to think. I don't love whoever the 7th seed in the AFC is going to be. They could be in play for it.
Yeah.
I could see the AFC South sending 2 teams. I remember I had them
Yeah.
sending 2 teams. This last week has already messed up my whole thing
Yeah.
of thinking about how playoffs are going to work. But
Yeah.
I had 2 AFC South teams making it, so in my mind, it is on the table,
Also,
whether division or not, that they make playoffs.
Aziz Al-Shire had his worst game as a Titan. He was trying to hit instead of tackle, and it did not work. Everybody bounced off of it, and they got extra yards out of it. And when he did try to tackle, he was not wrapping up. Yeah, it was a rough game. Kevin Byard and Amani Hooker didn't have their best game either. I hate to say it, Byard looks a little slow. Sometimes.
How old is he?
He's in his 30s. He's 31 or 30 or something like that. He's in the low 30s. But I mean,
I can look him up.
I wanted to draft a safety this year because Byard was really good last year. So I'm like, okay, while he's still good, draft his replacement because you don't want to wait until
he's 30.
Byard is okay. Yeah, I was like, you don't want to wait
And, like,
until
just turned
Byard is
30.
old. You know, like you don't want to wait. And like I think for sure, And Bayard's still good. Don't get me wrong. Just like when he was chasing in this game, like it was not going as well as it typically does. Because Bayard did have good speed coming into the league, and I don't know, he's not like slow, but he's lost a step. I think similar to what you can say about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has definitely lost a gear, and I think
Yeah.
you can say this. Both players, of course, drafted on day 2 of 2016, but I think
Right.
Bayard has lost a gear as well. And it
Yeah.
looked like it when he was chasing in this game because he was like they were like turning the corner and they were beating him. And he would make the tackle, but they would get a lot of more yardage out of it than like you'd think with like Kevin Byard chasing you. So I mean, not a whole lot else to say. I don't think.
Yeah.
Just
So
a,
are
a
you wanting to
rough
move on
game.
to
I still have. Well, I want to say one more thing.
Oh yeah,
Because
no,
I
of course, of
totally
courts.
yeah, because I totally forgot about what I was gonna say about this upcoming week. If we lose to Baltimore and London in Tottenham Hotspur Bumblehuton Titty Fuck Tiddlywink Stadium this weekend, I think you tank the season. I think you trade Tannehill and you trade Henry at the deadline. I think
Oh,
you,
and him. That's going to be a fan base upsetting move.
but for the outlook of our future, it's the
I
right
agree that
call.
is probably the move, but
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
guy like that who's done so much for the franchise. It's always going to be
they're
something the fans don't love.
out of 3 games we've played this season. Spears, or sorry, out of 5 games we've played this season, Spears has been the better running back in arguably 3 of them. At least 2 of them.
Mm.
Arguably, he was the better running back against Indy. He was the better running back against Cleveland, and he was possibly the better running back against New Orleans.
We
So
got to see when the trade deadline is. Well, we can just make that
right,
week's
right, but I
episode all
mean,
about.
like Spears' usage is only going up.
Mhm.
He had 3 touches on the first drive against Cincy. He had 4 touches on the first drive against Indy. And in general in this game, Spears moved the chains, I think, 3 or 4 times on 3rd down. They threw the ball at him, and he
That is how you stay on the field.
yes, and it's third and Hopkins and it's third and Spears for the Titans. Is okay. Are they covering underneath? Throw to Hopkins. Are they covering deep? Throw to Spears. That's the Titans' game plan on 3rd down, and it's worked the last couple of weeks now. And
Mm.
at this point, again, if Spears' usage only keeps going up and he only keeps rewarding the coaching staff with when they give him more touches and he starts giving them better production, I don't. I mean, it's insane for me to say. I don't like saying it, but because I love Derrick Henry, but it's not the worst thing in the world to trade Henry at the deadline. To it, just don't trade him to Philly. Please don't
I
trade
think
him to
they'll.
Philly. But
Philly doesn't strike me as like
no,
a
I think DeAndre
trade for a
Swift
running back,
is
old
good
running
enough,
back.
playing very well
That as
enough
well.
now that. But I mean, who would even who would take Henry that now? Maybe Buffalo because he adds something that
Baltimore,
Baltimore is. Well, I
just because the running back
we
injuries.
can't send him to Baltimore, man. But I think Buffalo maybe is an option because he provides something James Cook doesn't. Um, I don't know of any like NFC teams that would maybe take him.
I don't know.
It'd be pretty.
Jerry's always a little
Actually,
big name.
hang on.
Or he wouldn't
If Henry is cheap-ish,
cook.
if Henry's cheap-ish, San Francisco is a dream fit.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm just saying.
Shut up.
I'm just saying. Henry has always
They
been
have
better.
CMC.
Derrick Henry's a
No.
bruiser, though. CMC's gotten better strength
They-
as his career has gone on, but Henry, like Henry's stronger than CMC. I think we can all. I think nobody's arguing.
But is that? Would they trade though for another? Just money wise, forget asset wise. Like, does it make sense financially for them?
They have quite a bit of cap space, like way more than they should, given how many people.
But
they're paying.
would they spend
But-
that as much money as they are in the running back room with how good that they
I
can
don't think they would keep
produce?
Henry long term. Like I said, if Henry's cheap, like if this is like a 4th or a 5th round pick, I could see maybe San Francisco does it just to add an.
Don't throw it
extra
out.
element
Just
to
stop
it.
throwing it out as an
All
idea.
right, I'm just
Baltimore
saying.
makes the most sense.
As a football fan, I want to see Henry in San Francisco because I know it would be really.
Oh,
good.
as a football fan, I want to see him. Yeah, that would be great.
Miami could
I don't
even
know.
be a good destination for him because again, he's a very different back than what Mostert and
I
Achane are,
think that
but
they just want speed.
I guess maybe Henry doesn't provide that.
Because Mike's would have to draw up plays. He doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he could draw up any play that he could set his mind to. He's
Right.
amazing, but I don't know.
I don't know. The problem is
Also, my
Henry's just
most
not a.
might get to it later. Sorry.
Sorry, Henry's just not a
I
great
keep
fit in Tim Kelly's offense because this is a lot more gap runs. This is a lot more like
uh,
it's very different from what Henry's best usage is, and it's not like he can't run in this system. It's just it's not because the Titans offensive personnel has been built around like this West Coast like zone run Shanahanigans scheme, and right now that's not what Tim Kelly is. He's much more of a traditional like this is a pro style offense. You're gonna get a lot of different formations. You're gonna see a lot more shotgun. You're gonna see a lot more pistol. You're gonna see more traditional drop back passing sets, and it's not Henry's best environment. It's also not Chigo Konko's best environment. I think we've seen that this year.
when do you guys play on primetime next?
Technically, London this upcoming week because no other game is on. I personally I consider
Yeah.
international games if it's played at 9 a.m. I consider that prime time because nothing else is on. That's the only game it's on. I consider
Yeah.
that prime time, even if it's not actually prime time. Arguably, I mean, it is because it's the only game. You can't watch any other football game,
Yeah.
so you may as well watch Tennessee versus Baltimore. But anywho,
And
I think
then,
I'm ready to move on to
all right,
our best
best
win and
win.
worst win segment.
Let's not include any of the games we've already talked about.
I
I
agree.
just mean the Titans and
I
Cowboys
agree.
games.
Best win.
We don't need to.
But I mean, yeah, maybe San Francisco would have an argument here because they just blew out another contender in their conference.
Uh
But
huh.
sorry, didn't want to remind you. But yeah, okay, we won't use San Francisco here. But who did you think had the
Um,
best win of the week?
there's like a couple that are jumping out to me.
Yeah.
I think Eagles Rams.
Okay.
Eagles beating the Rams in LA. And I know that doesn't matter because it's LA and
Yeah.
every visiting team has home field advantage there, but like winning by 2 scores against a team that I thought really could compete in the conference,
Yep.
just absolutely shutting them down to only 14 points.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty good. And then the other one just in terms of like the offense finally clicking for this team, the
Yeah, I
Bengals
was
beating
gonna
the
say
Cardinals.
that's for sure.
That
Like,
one, like Joe Burrow looked
Yeah.
like Joe Burrow again. He kind of moved around a little bit better. He hit that deep ball with Jamar Chase, as well as just doing everything else on the field with Jamar Chase.
Mhm.
But that one, those are probably the two for me. Like one in terms of what it means for the entirety of the team and beating a potential person you could see in the playoffs again, and then the Bengals starting to look like how they've looked before when they've made playoff runs.
so there's a lot of great wins this week.
There
There
definitely
like,
are.
I've got like 3 or 4 in mind right now that you didn't just mention.
Okay.
Fuck, I don't even know which one I want to go with. Because there are a ton of these. You've got. There's one game that's arguably best win and worst win, and that's Pittsburgh. Because you're now leading your
Oh.
division, but you also got outplayed in literally every statistical category. Like Baltimore, like 99
Yeah,
times out of
division.
100, Baltimore wins this game, but Pittsburgh wins just based off of like Mike Tomlin .500 record bullshit. So
I
that's
think,
what it is. It's generally it's like he's
and
like
and
bewitched or
Kenny
something.
Pickett just Xing out whatever the fuck Matt Canada wanted.
Yeah, audible at the line of
Good.
scrimmage every play. But I think my definitive answer is going to be the Jets because they won the Hackett Bowl. You get
That
another
one,
win.
yes.
You feel much
For
better about
yeah,
your
yes.
season now.
I must have scrolled past that. Where
And
is it?
Sean Payton's a huge
There it
douchebag,
is.
so watching him lose to the guy he shit on in the offseason
Mhm.
is a good feeling.
And like
And you won by 2
from what we've
scores.
seen from Broncos coaches before Hackett,
Yes.
you might have already, if you would just open like step back and look bigger picture, you could probably be like, oh, yeah, it is probably safe to assume that it's not even really his fault. I know you have your problems with Hackett,
Right.
but you could still look back and be like, well, the Broncos themselves as an organization just have had issues with the
Definitely.
head coach and just being
Yeah.
a team since Peyton left. Period.
Well, I think it is also fair to say though that even if a lot of it wasn't his fault, he certainly didn't do anything to help them. I mean, he lost
Yeah.
the locker room.
I mean, seeing how the
play
Jets
calling wasn't
players, have been defending Hackett,
Yeah.
I mean that speaks a lot as well. At the very least, it's just an X's and O's issue.
Yes. I'm with
Like
you
that's
there.
all it is.
A couple other honorable mentions here. I mean, Atlanta. It's nice to get back in the win column after 2 straight losses, especially against a
Yeah.
competitive team like Houston. It's good. Jacksonville beating another AFC contender, and again getting back
Oh
in the
yeah,
win
that
column.
definitely is definitely up there because
That's a
that
huge win.
really changes
Um,
my outlook.
yeah, if you're
Well, not really,
yeah,
but it does
yeah.
shake it up a
I
bit.
feel a lot better about Jacksonville certainly after this game. Chicago, I'm sure feels much better about
That's
themselves
I
after
had it
this.
in a different.
Yeah.
I have it big picture. I have it in worst wins.
The Panthers have the number 1 overall pick though, and they have that pick. So
I know, but
Yeah.
what you could be doubling up with,
yeah, I understand. I
it's
understand.
it's better. Like
It
I've
is
seen
a
enough from
double-
Justin
it is a
Fields, and I know
double-edged
it's not
sword.
just. I know it's not just Justin Fields' fault, but I'm seeing enough to where it's like I move on. You should already be moved on in your head.
So my definitive answer is the
But
Jets.
that coach is
'cause,
playing for-
2-3 is way better than 1-4 in terms of like your outlook for the season. And also they had lost 3 straight games, and a lot of them were close. So it's like it's very good for them to get back in the win column, especially by 2 scores.
Which team did you say?
The Jets are my definitive pick for best win.
Oh,
31-21.
yeah. I think that's a really good one. Mine is Eagles Rams.
Yeah, and I think my runner-up would probably be Jacksonville, just because you beat a team like Buffalo.
That's probably my runner-up.
But and I guess I hate doing this. I hate mentioning so many teams because it feels like it defeats the purpose of the segment. But like New Orleans
Yeah.
just beat the shit out of New England. But we'll get into that in worst losses
Yeah.
for sure. Because I mean, there's
I
just
think
no way
maybe
it's
going
that
forward
low.
we'll iron out this
Yeah.
section, like this,
Yeah.
like how we make these picks.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I feel like I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
You might have. Shit.
Yeah,
Do you know what it's about?
but it's whatever.
Okay.
No, completely just dropped it from my brain. But we'll
Sorry
move on.
about that, man. All right.
No, you're good.
Worst win. So you're going with Chicago
Worst. It's the one that jumps out to me the most, just because winning a game this season when you could be just doing absolutely everything you can to be going, Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr. That's what you need to be working on, because that's and if you and it's like, well, DJ Moore just had a good game. How important is a receiver? First of all, what Marvin Harrison Jr. is phenomenal.
here?
If you pair that with DJ Moore, if you have DJ Moore and Caleb Williams as a wide receiver duo, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Yes.
And Caleb Williams throwing the ball,
Yeah.
that's insane. I mean, I could see the argument of like blessing in disguise, where it's like you don't have the option to take Marvin Harrison Jr., so you get a high quality player at a position of need.
You get
for the
Olu
Bears,
Fashanu at tackle, assuming
you get another tackle,
Yeah.
you could get an edge rusher, something.
yeah,
But
you get you get
I'll
something.
take the absolute upside talent over like pure need right
I'm
now,
with
even
you.
though we're still talking about elite players
Yeah.
draft wise at those positions.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of like blue chip level prospects in this draft class, even outside of
Yeah.
Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison, who in my opinion are both generational.
Yep.
I don't use that word lightly. I don't like using that word, but I think they are both like just truly can't miss prospect. Like if you need that position, you have to take him, or else I'm going to question why you have your job, because it's a clear answer. But I mean,
It's
there
also
are-
where even if your evaluation somehow says to take a different quarterback,
yes,
if you're wrong and you don't take them,
yes,
like the pushback immediately and
Yes.
in the long run would be so immense that even if you in your heart of hearts feel better about a different quarterback, you just have to take the one that everybody says to take.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair point, and that a lot of people overlook, because if you pick Caleb Williams and he doesn't turn out, nobody's going to blame you, because you
Nobody.
picked the guy everybody said you should pick. But
But it sucks you'll still get fired
imagine
for
if
it.
Jacksonville had taken Zach Wilson over Trevor Lawrence. The world we'd be in right now if the Jets had Trevor Lawrence and the Jags had Zach Wilson.
The
That's what
Jets are.
and there were plenty of people campaigning for Zach Wilson to be taken over Trevor Lawrence. I am not forgetting the buffoonery people were concocting about Zach Wilson being QB1. It was bullshit.
Hey,
people were
you know
saying
what?
it.
with my evaluations, it's really a 1A, 1B type of quarterback class.
And you should shoot
and
yourself
You could
in the
really
foot.
be picking either one.
Yes.
But I did hear that specific take.
I heard that, but I genuinely heard people saying Jacksonville needs to take Zach Wilson. And it's the same thing. If you're wrong about Trevor Lawrence, nobody would blame you. But if you're wrong about Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence becomes the guy, and you took Zach Wilson over Trevor Lawrence, who was the obvious choice, you're getting fired after 1 year. 100%.
After one game.
Yes, you get if your quarterback, who everybody said was not as good as the other guy, if you draft him first and he shits the bed and the other guy is a superstar, you're fired. There's no coming back from that. It does not matter what else you do. There's no coming back from that. So, like you said, if you're wrong about Caleb, nobody would ever.
You can take that hit.
You can take.
You
that
might
hit
still get
because
fired just because of how the job is, how the
situation,
NFL is.
But if you take like Drake May or Michael Penix over him, and they are, and I like both of those guys. It's not a slight on them. Just hypothetically, if you take Drake May because you expect him to be Justin Herbert, and he's not Justin Herbert or even half of what Justin Herbert is, then, well, you're fired. It's simple as that. So I'm with you there. But is there anything else you have to say for worst loss? So do you have another team in mind for your definitive choice?
Well, obviously the Patriots.
Yes.
We both want to talk about them. And I feel like there's just not too much to say. And to me, all right, I guess I'll say this. For me, the solution isn't even
wait, no, it's worst win. I'm sorry, not worst loss. Sorry, it's worst win right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I forgot what segment we were on.
Yeah, you're right.
We're on worst win.
Chiefs Vikings wasn't as pretty as you would want it to be.
I was going to say Kansas City. It was going to be my choice.
Yeah. Also, like, Travis got dinged up a little bit again in that game and left the game for a little bit. Did manage to come back and catch a touchdown.
Yes.
But like that's extremely concerning because we saw week 1 what that offense looks like without him, and the offense can improve as it goes along. So maybe it wouldn't be as bad. But it's like, yikes! If he's gone, like that offense is like. He just got shot in the leg. But Patrick Mahomes is a strong other leg to have.
They have played one complete game this season, and it was against the Bears. So
that's not a good opponent to say.
Every other game, it's like they have struggled to pull away and look like the considerably better team that they should be, based on who you have under center, who you have coaching this team, even based on your roster. Your roster is like the offensive weaponry is probably the
defense
worst
is good.
it's been, but the defense is really good, and you have pieces on offense.
Probably the
not like
best it's been in the Mahomes era.
Yes, I think so far this defense has been phenomenal. But again, you only win by one score against a team that has continued to struggle with turnovers, and even struggled in this game with turnover.
And this has been talked about a lot. The Chiefs historically in these past couple of years haven't covered. So like the amount you win by, like you could say, hey, we've seen this before, but it feels different this season, because it's also easy to point out the why.
Yes.
Because when they weren't covering with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, you're like, don't worry about it. But they they just have Travis Kelce, who's been banged up. Yeah. I've seen Kadarius Toney be wide receiver 1 for that team. It does not look pretty. It's a huge. You can tell why it's a huge issue this year.
And again, I want to say I understand it's big for them because they're at the top of their division now, but Pittsburgh, not worst win in terms of what it means for your team, but worst win in terms of like you got shit on in this game.
Well, and still what it means for your team, but just not in the standings.
In everywhere but the box score, you got demolished in this game.
Yeah.
Like let me pull up the exact numbers here because I have them.
Yeah, I got all the games right here too.
No, I have like the I have a screenshot of like the exact. Shit, where is it? Oh, never mind. I forwarded it earlier. I don't actually have it saved. Let me pull it back up then. But in terms of like, team stats. Here we go. Total yards: Baltimore 335, Pittsburgh 289. Passing yards: Baltimore 210, Pittsburgh 202. Rushing yards: Baltimore 125, Pittsburgh 87. Yards per play: 5.0 versus 4.4. First downs: 19 versus 17. Third down efficiency: 5 of 14 versus 6 of 50. That's the one area Pittsburgh won in this game, was third down efficiency. They had one more opportunity.
That's usually a big stat, though.
Fourth down efficiency as well. Baltimore was 0-2. That's a big one. Total plays: Baltimore had a couple more sacks allowed. Pittsburgh had one less sack allowed. Pittsburgh punted one more time, had one more penalty for 10 more yards. Well, I guess turnovers as well. Baltimore lost the game in turnovers. Baltimore lost 2 fumbles and 1 interception, but Pittsburgh just lost one. So the turnover margin was +2 in favor of Pittsburgh. But I mean, outside of that, um, generally speaking, Baltimore. I think 9 times out of 10, Baltimore wins the game because you look at again. There were 7 drops in this game. Baltimore wins this game a vast majority of the time.
Yes, and also interestingly enough, this season, I mean, I'm not watching intensely these Pittsburgh games, but it just seems like from pressures, what I've seen stat wise, like pressures, things of that nature, it seems like Highsmith is having a better season than T.J. Watt,
Right.
which is not concerning because he's a good player, but it's just
Yeah.
interesting. I'm just saying it's interesting. It's nothing
Sure,
concerning, but it is an interesting thing to know.
Yeah, I'm not concerned at all either with that. I mean, Watt's been playing really well this year, regardless. But
Yeah, it's more of a um, something about how good Highsmith is.
but
I just find it interesting. Is it's like we
yeah,
talk about the
Highsmith's
defensive
awesome.
player of the year
Highsmith's awesome.
being T.J. Watt. Right now, it might be Highsmith if we were picking one from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, I'm with you. I
Like,
haven't,
it's
I haven't
season
looked at
ended
all
right
the
now.
like the advanced numbers that's been charted for Pittsburgh. Like,
I
as
just
far
keep
as,
seeing him have more
pressure rate
pressures,
and, yeah,
and
yeah.
like I think he
I'd have to
might,
look.
and sacks might be close.
Yeah, I'd have to take a gander, but
Yeah,
everything Pittsburgh does
and now
offensively looks difficult. Like even when they gain positive yardage, they get big play. Like everything they do
yeah,
just looks harder than it should
that
be. George Pickens had a decent game, but like if you look at his route chart, it is literally running in a straight line on either the left or the right side of the field the entire game. His route chart was like
but if
this
you're
is
elite at it, fuck it.
well, this isn't a George Pickens issue. This is a Matt Canada issue because
Oh my god, I
Pickens can
think
play. Like you
if
can
I'm being
send
honest,
him on a post or whatever, or a slant or something, have him running between the numbers.
no.
But he did not go between the numbers at all in this game. He was literally running a straight line outside. Was the game was Matt? That was the level of Matt Canada's creativity for George Pickens in this game. Was run outside in a straight line, and it worked. They had a 34-yard touchdown at the end of the game to take the lead. But
Yeah, but I mean, Steelers are being talked about a lot, especially because of their offensive woes. If we want to move on to
yeah,
best loss,
yeah. Best loss.
yeah.
Uh, let's see.
I'll just give it a quick note because we've talked about it a lot already. But Colts Titans just because of AR, and it is concerning.
Well, that's
Just
a
kidding.
win for Indy,
Again,
but
but that's the only thing I want.
oh, okay.
I thought sorry, I meant worst win.
Yeah,
I meant
yeah,
worst win
yeah.
because that's our best. Yeah,
Worst win is
Right.
Sorry, yeah. Worst win is where we're at right now.
Okay,
Okay.
let me double check. So we've done best win. We just worst win. So we're at
Yeah.
best loss. My bad. My bad.
Yes.
Best
We're-
loss.
Yes.
That's a tougher one. Um. I'm not really seeing one where like
Um,
a team we thought was bad held in close with a
Bryce Young
with a
threw 3
good-
touchdowns against the Lions. I guess that's your consolation prize. Bryce Young had 3 touchdown passes in garbage time. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
But, I mean, and
I get that,
Still
and
threw
that
the 2
is of
picks,
note.
But
I mean,
you
that
do
is
want to see.
yeah, that's 2 picks. Adam Thielen has been really good, but
Really good
as your
this
wide
year,
receiver one, that's still an issue. I think he's having really good production, but it's just when
Yeah.
that's your wide receiver one, that is still at this stage in his career. He used to be a really good wide receiver one,
Yeah.
but at this stage in his career, that's a problem.
Yeah. And then
I won't
I
forget
guess
when he was wide
the-
receiver one and Diggs
Yeah.
was wide receiver two.
I think there's I guess the Rams hung in close with another really tough opponent. I guess is maybe like they're 2
I
and
don't
3.
think they hung in close enough.
No, but I mean they're like we're really scrounging for best loss here. There's not many good.
We are.
candidates this
There
week.
might not be one. We should just move on to worst losses.
I'm going to say Carolina only because you saw a little bit more from Bryce Young, and that's a win in and
Yeah.
of itself because you're thinking about your future, and he had 3 touchdowns in that game. But
And then, I mean, C.J. Stroud didn't throw a pick, so that's impressive.
yeah, he had a touchdown. He had 245 yards, no interceptions. Still, he broke the rookie record for most passes thrown. Or
Took it away from Dak Prescott.
Not just rookie, but most passes thrown by any player in their first
Without an interception.
170 something passes without a pick. So good on him.
Yeah.
I think
Took
he
it
hit
from
like
Dak.
183 or something. But
Yeah, he's and it'll just continue because he still
Yeah.
hasn't done it yet.
Worst loss, I'm
So
going
he
to
really.
say Green Bay.
I was gonna say that too because you do not like what you saw from me, Jordan Love.
Well, this is 2 primetime games now this year where he's looked like shit. So
And
when
at
the
least one of them, he had a good second half, but
yeah,
he didn't have that this time.
but I
He
mean
just had shit.
he looked. I mean his first interception was probably the worst one of his career. He just threw it right to the
Mhm.
linebacker, literally 5 yards from him in his face, like just threw it right to
And
him.
he's also at this disadvantage of like he doesn't have the timetable most first year starters
No,
do.
because this is year 4. So at this point,
Yeah.
you've had 3 years of development, or you should have. So they're not going to be as patient with you because this is a contract year.
Nope.
I don't think they accepted his 5th year option. They probably declined it because they haven't seen anything from him yet, and you don't want to pay him all that money.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like
so it's year 4, and
if they miss playoffs, he's either getting a super small contract
another
or
one
they're getting a
year,
new
10
quarterback.
million or 15, whatever. But I mean, this is now. I like what I've seen from Jordan Love in some games this year. I liked what I
If
saw
he was
against.
a rookie quarterback, this would be a whole different
For
conversation.
sure,
This
but I
is
mean,
the hey, rookie quarterback, throw this game
he
away. He's getting better. We've seen stuff already from him to feel good about.
yeah.
But this is you're too far into your career.
But he played well in week 1. He had the comeback against New Orleans, and he really did orchestrate that comeback. The numbers may not show
But
it,
how
but he
much
had
does if Derek Carr doesn't get hurt, does
right.
New
Well,
Orleans offense stop that from happening?
you never know. Well, granted, I mean, I don't want to play the what if game in terms of quarterback
That's you're
development
100.
because
That's totally fair.
that's not within his control. And it's what does he
Mhm.
do? How does he respond to his situation? And he
I
responded
think, but
well
I think when
in
you
that game.
see other bad stuff, you can take you. I think you can look back and
Yes.
see other things to like. If you're having to make that tough of a decision of
Yeah.
like moving off from a quarterback, I think you
Yeah.
can start to take a look back and factor those things in.
Well, I'm curious about like is he just really bad when the lights are bright? Because now this is 2 primetime games this year again where he's had his worst 2 games when the lights are brightest.
I don't know because he made the Lions game like he made it competitive at the end,
He did his
and it
best. I
didn't feel
mean,
like entirely. It didn't feel like garbage time to me.
not
It's just
necessarily.
like
No,
the
it felt
entire
like he
second
was
half.
well. It wasn't garbage time until Quay Walker did Quay Walker things, but
Yeah.
you know, you I mean,
So
you
I
like the
wouldn't say it's
second
a
half of that game,
bright lights
but
thing.
not
At least not
necessarily.
yet.
But I mean, but in this game in particular, he was bad. This is easily his worst game of the season. Um,
Oh yeah. You first of all, you lost to the Raiders.
yeah.
That's not something you should be doing this season.
No. Well, the Raiders were favored. Actually, remember last week when I said the Packers were only favored by 2 and I was going to bet on this? The Raiders ended up being favored by 1. The line moved 3 spots. The Raiders were favored by a point to win this game. So naturally, I bet the house on Packers money line, and it didn't hit because I knew this was a trap. As soon as I saw the line move, I'm like, Vegas knows something ain't right. And yeah, sure enough, the Raiders win.
It's
So
always wins.
Vegas, well,
But yeah.
Vegas quite literally won in this sense because that's where the Raiders play. But yeah, Vegas always knows.
Oh yeah.
Betting. Um,
I'm gonna go ahead and move it to a different game,
yeah,
just because.
just talk
Also
about
because I
other
did not watch that game.
Yeah.
Baby stuff.
Fair enough. But you want
And
to talk
then-
about New England?
Right. I wanted to talk
Yeah.
about New England because to me, I don't think you fire Bill Belichick, the head coach, at the end of the year. I think he still has enough equity built up there. But what you do is fire Bill Belichick, the GM.
I think Bill needs to hang up the cleats after this season.
Maybe if he doesn't want to retire, I think he's earned one more. He's done. I mean,
If he
Jesus,
doesn't-
6 Super Bowls. I'll give him another year.
If he doesn't want to
but
retire,
new GM.
I would probably give him one more season as the head coach, just because of the pedigree that he's built up. But I mean, it is
Yeah,
fading
that's what I'm
quickly
saying.
in terms of what he is right now.
Oh, it's just
At
it's
some-
just one more year.
At some point, you just have to say, okay, what has he done for me lately? And the answer is not much.
Yeah.
Like at least over the last couple
And, I mean,
seasons, you can say they've been.
He ties his
competitive.
own arm.
Right.
He ties his own arm behind his back with how he drafts.
Right.
He's one of the reasons people think Brady is as great as he is because of what he does with the talent around him.
Right. It's because Belichick has never.
He's put Brady
like
in that
a-
position.
like a phenomenal roster together. Besides, a few like 2007, obviously that was a special roster. They went undefeated.
Yeah.
But the Randy
Brady
Moss
had
acquisition.
one elite wide receiver.
The Randy Moss acquisition was probably the best move of Belichick's GM career.
Yeah.
But
But it has to be like superstar at a discount for him to even think
Yeah.
about it.
But I mean, regardless of the way this season ends, Belichick is out at GM. I would hope he just has to be.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
move. That's the move you do this season for sure, and you give him
also,
1 more year as head
and you might do this at the
coach. But
trade deadline.
I
Mac,
am willing to bet.
Mac Jones needs to go. Not just this is bad. This is bad. This
For
feels
him.
like
He needs to go for him.
This feels like for some reason like parents that you just know are about to get divorced. Like you just know they're staying together for some inexplicable reason, but like it's coming. Mac Jones is a terrible
Why
fit.
is he sleeping in a different room?
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. This is Belichick and Mac Jones are not sleeping in the same bed anymore. The new golden boy is not a golden
Which I
boy.
always like to think about.
Yes, I love thinking about Bill Belichick's sleeping habits, but but this is
He broke up with his longtime girlfriend.
Yeah, this is just a terrible fit for both sides at this point. Mac Jones is playing like shit.
Yeah.
But he's not getting any help from anybody, quite honestly. And
Anything.
I think people are being a little
But
disrespectful.
it's
with
so
some of
bad where I'm
these-
like, Mac. I saw his decision making.
Yeah.
It's him.
Yeah.
I get that he's not getting help around him, but it's also
yeah,
just.
it is also
him.
He's not doing himself any favors. But I just think for both sides, like Mac Jones is not the guy for New England, but also New England is just not the team for Mac Jones either. And
Nope.
I've seen some disrespectful narratives about disrespectful towards Brock Purdy. You saw the tweet that Gabe sent us where it was like, I think it was, who was it that said, was it Dan Orlovsky that said
It was a joke.
Yeah, that said Mac Jones would be just as good as Brock Purdy if he was playing in San Francisco, and it was like, why does everybody just discredit what Brock Purdy is every time these scenarios are brought up? Like, Brock Purdy's not a bad quarterback.
Above it was a picture of Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, it was like,
and it was like Brock Purdy in any other situation apparently.
in hypothetical scenarios, like people just assume Brock Purdy
But honestly,
like shit for some reason.
Brock Purdy has everything you need to succeed as an NFL quarterback, but I mean, he's better than Dak Prescott. Let me make that clear.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make that argument at all.
He's better than Ryan
Brock
Tannehill.
Purdy is better than Dak Prescott. But there's probably a lot of quarterbacks, if we put them in that situation, do about the same that Brock Purdy's doing.
Well, I mean, if
Like,
Patrick
let's
Mahomes
Sam Darnold
was
in.
if Patrick Mahomes was in San Francisco, they wouldn't lose a game. You know what I mean? But like, they haven't lost a game.
God.
They've only lost one game with Purdy, and it was a game where he missed time. So
Yeah.
you're
He's undefeated as a starter and finisher.
yes, he's undefeated when he plays all 4 quarters. So they haven't even really lost a game with Purdy starting and finishing a game. So actually, he did finish.
Yeah.
I think he did finish that Eagles game. He just didn't because Josh Johnson got hurt, so he had to come back in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
when he
healthy
plays
Brock
when he
Purdy
plays all
finishing a
4
starter is
yeah,
undefeated.
when he plays all 4 quarters, they've never lost. So
Yeah.
Purdy's good. I think we
He
can
plays
accept-
100% of the offensive snaps.
He's a little bit more. I've said this a couple weeks ago, but he has a little bit more Jimmy G in him than maybe you'd like, and maybe than I initially thought he would, based on how well he started playing at first. But it's not to the same degree where he's like, almost thrown the game away for them at some point, which Jimmy has done for many teams already in his career, many times. So, well, I say many teams. He's done it for the Raiders already. He did it for San Francisco. But yeah, moving on to picks for next
We're
week.
going to do picks.
Yes, sir. Let's do picks.
So first, let's go over this week. Me and you, we had a bad week
We had a bad week.
for picks. So let me see. We were both. I got what we have right here. We were both wrong about Washington
Yes.
because Chicago won. We were wrong about Jacksonville because we both had Buffalo. We were wrong about Pittsburgh because we both had Baltimore. We were both right about Detroit, and then we were both wrong about Atlanta.
Yeah.
Or wrong about Houston because Atlanta won, and then we were wrong about I don't know how. I don't know. Looking back, this was the dumbest decision we both made, was we both picked
The
New
Rams.
England.
Or wait. Oh yeah, we both picked
Over-
Oh yeah, I'm not picking New England to win a
New
single other game this year. By the way, I'm never picking New England
Nope,
again.
that's done. And
Never.
then And then we were
Never
both
picking
right about
Indy.
Miami.
Yes.
And then I was right about Indy. You picked Tennessee. Totally fair.
Actually,
Just
I
totally
think.
fair.
Wait. No, I thought I picked Indy last week.
No. It had you locked in with Tennessee.
I could have sworn I picked Indy. I mean, for some reason, I thought in my head that I
Maybe
picked
you
Indy
just
to win.
missed your thumb. Your thumb was still clicking with your fam,
My
I guess.
brain and my thumb were not on the same wavelength because I did a
Yeah.
collab post with a friend of mine who's a Colts fan, and in that one I picked Tennessee, but we had like a group chat that we made before the post was out, and I was like, oh, I actually picked Indy in my pick 'em. I would just never give him the satisfaction of having me pick Indy in his post. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
And apparently, no, I didn't pick. I didn't pick Indy.
And
I picked
then
Tennessee. I didn't know
we
that.
were both. We were both. Sorry, I was right about Cincy, and you had Arizona.
Yes.
And then we were both wrong about LA because the Eagles won.
Yeah. I think
I can live with that one.
you and I got a little too hot on that one. I think
We got too hot on
talked
the Rams.
ourselves up
I
a
still
bit.
don't hate it.
No, talked ourselves up a
I,
bit to
I,
that one.
I mean, especially as a Cowboys fan, I'm not gonna like be upset about it. But and then we were both right about Kansas City, and then we were both right about the Jets, and then I didn't the picks for the other games, which I think were just Sunday night and Monday night.
Yeah.
I know you had San Francisco, I had the Cowboys, and then I think we probably both had Green Bay, if I had to guess.
Yep.
I think. Not entirely sure. Yeah. But now that leaves us with I'm at 45 because I won that week as well. I won by 1 point. I got 6 games right, you had 5 games right.
Yep.
So I'm at 45 for the season, you're at 42. Gabe is at 0.
Yep. He still hasn't made his picks. This motherfucker.
So I made no picks.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so you ready to start picking them?
Hell yeah, man. I've actually already made 14 out of 15. So.
Okay. I click as we go.
Yeah. I sometimes do.
First,
yeah.
I don't know why we're getting. I mean, I do know why because it's a divisional game, but we are being subjected to Broncos at Kansas City.
I'm
Even
going to
with
bed.
some of the woes of Kansas City,
I'm
it's
going to
easy
bed early.
cheese.
I'm going to bed early. Patrick Mahomes has never lost to Denver in his career, and obviously that's going to. He's not going to go. He's not going to retire at 40 with 0 career losses to the Broncos. It's going to happen eventually,
But
maybe.
not this
probably.
team. It's not going to be to
But
this
it's
team.
not going to be this team. So pretty handily, I've got Kansas City winning this one, probably by double digits.
And then we
What's the
hop
spread?
over to
What's
London.
The spread is Kansas City minus 10.5. Yeah, Vegas knows.
And I'll still take them. I know they don't cover. I'll still take them because I just. Also, I was thinking that as we do our picks of the weeks,
Yep.
we can do our matchup of the week whenever we
Yep.
see one that we feel interested about.
Yeah.
That I think should not be our own teams.
I think. Well, I already have a matchup of the week idea, and it's not. I mean, Tennessee Baltimore's a good one, but it's not. It's not my idea.
It is.
Yeah. It's not. It's not.
But
my
yeah,
pick,
but
though.
that is what we have right now.
Not
Over
my
in
pick.
London, we have Ravens at Titans. I will be going Ravens. I refuse to believe that they drop as many balls as they do.
I struggle with this
You
one.
can be a fan.
I can be, and I think
I
I'm
get that you're a
going to
fan
be.
of Lamar.
Well, I think I'm going to be a fan ultimately because this is what the Titans do typically after like a loss, like they experienced last week, is they typically bounce back. But it's not like Baltimore. You see Baltimore stacking losses every year. You know what I mean? So
hmm
I don't know. It's in London, so it's fucking bullshit. This counts as a home game for us. This is ridiculous. I hate life. I hate everything. Because we're undefeated at home this year so far.
Well, imagine being an
2-0.
LA fan.
Whatever. They don't know my pain.
All your home games
They
shouldn't
beat
count
us
as home
in the Super
games.
Bowl. Well, the good LA team did. The shit LA team never won anything. But anywho, yeah, I'm gonna be a fan picking Tennessee.
That's fair. That's a close enough one to be a fan
The
of.
spread on this one's only 4, so if it was in Tennessee, it might be Baltimore -1 or Tennessee -1. But because it's in London, this is where we're at.
Yeah. But then we have the 0-5 Panthers going to 4-1 Miami Dolphins.
As much as I'd love to see Bryce Young win a football
Bryce Young
game,
get a win.
yeah, it's not
Not
happening
against
this
that
week.
team.
It's not happening this week.
Javon
Holland.
Achan.
Oh wait,
Devon
no.
Achan. There we go.
Yeah, I think it's Devin actually.
Devin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Devin Achan.
Yeah.
Might be out, but Raheem Mostert has shown that he can still handle that role even,
Yeah.
just as well. Maybe not Maybe
Yeah.
not as well, but yeah,
Very good football player.
not
You're not concerned.
marginal difference.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm taking Miami.
I'm also taking Miami
And
pretty
then
handily, unfortunately.
let's see what the spread on this one is. Minus 13.5.
Yay. I almost want to take Carolina to cover. I
Bet the
weirdly feel
over,
like
whatever the. Let me see what
I weirdly feel like Carolina will
what are the
cover
points.
in that game.
48.5. Take the over just because of Miami.
Miami might just score 48.5 points. No, I'm just Jero Evero's got a good
Themselves.
defensive unit going there, but we've
They'll
got
score 48, and Panthers will kick a field goal.
we've got
And then we have
Indy
Colts
at
at Jacksonville.
I'd hate to
This
see
is
Indy
for
get swept.
Division lead.
I'd hate to see Indy get swept against Jacksonville because
Mhm.
they already lost the Week 1 game in Indy. But I don't know that I can pick the Colts after the week Jacksonville just had. And I mean, obviously Indy just had a good week too. But I mean,
Yeah, it's weird. Division games are weird.
yeah,
They're
that
always
too.
they can
That
always
too.
be
Like
so
this
weird.
game could end any score, and I wouldn't be shocked. But I think some of
If
it.
AR played, I would pick the Colts, but he's not, so
He's
I'm really
not.
torn.
It's well, it's a Minshew revenge tour though.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is where Minshew Mania started, so he's
Yes.
going to feel really comfortable in that stadium.
I was actually
that is something to think about, and I will be picking the Colts.
I was
I'm picking the Colts
actually
because of that.
actually there when Minshew Mania started. I was at that game. It was 2019 Week 1 against the Chiefs. That was the Sammy Watkins 3-touchdown Week 1 game. That's where Week 1 Sammy Watkins was born because Tyreek Hill got hurt in like the first quarter, or maybe early in the second. I don't know, but I know Sammy Watkins had a game. I was at that game. That was also the hottest it's ever been in my life because the way the A&T Bank, or is it A&T Bank? Because M&T Bank is a different one, right? So I don't know. It's the bank. It used to be Everbank. Now it's, I think, A&T. But the bank in Jacksonville is literally designed to be an oven. It's not on purpose, but it's designed so poorly that it actually gets up to like 130 degrees inside the stadium. Just how it's designed at
Damn.
like the lower levels. So it just bakes in the heat. So there were salt deposits on my skin from how much I had sweat that day. It was brutal. I was sunburnt. I was dehydrated. There was salt lingering on my skin from my sweat. Like I lost a shit ton of sodium that day. It was a crazy day, crazy heat, crazy game as well. I mean, Kansas City won pretty handily, but Minshew like only threw a couple incompletions. He was like 22 of 25 or some bullshit. Like he had a good day, and it was good to see.
Who you got?
I'm gonna say Jacksonville, but I don't feel good about it.
Okay.
I do
And then we
feel
have
good
Vikings
about this next
at Bears.
Minnesota.
And even with Justin Jefferson out, I'm still picking the Vikings.
Minnesota. Minnesota's only favored by 2.5 in this game. I still feel like at some point, like they're just they have an advantage in coaching. They have an advantage in roster talent. Like they've got to pull together another win at some point this season. Like they've got to start winning games.
Jordan Addison is about to pop off.
I'm
Huge Jordan Addison game.
definitely betting the over on Addison this week. I don't know what the line will
Whatever
probably be
his numbers
somewhere
are,
around
bet the over.
40 to 50-ish, but hammering
Yeah,
Jordan
but then Saints at Texans. This is a tough one because if there was a defense to make CJ Stroud look like a rookie, the Saints
this one.
are capable.
Yeah, they've
of
had
doing
multiple interception games so far this season. They just had, I think, 3 against New England. They had 3 against Tennessee. I'm not saying CJ's gonna throw one, but in terms of like what a defense does for quarterbacks, I bet
it happens.
I am going to pick. I think it happens too. I think he throws 1. I don't think he throws 3. I think he throws 1. But I think
Also, like, does Tank Dell play? I think he's in concussion protocol.
if concussion, if it happened during the game, probably not. Typically, you miss a game when that happens. If you get concussed during the game.
I want to say he missed this previous game, but I'm not 100%.
Oh, no, I don't know then. Maybe he'll be back. I don't know. But either way, I'm picking New Orleans.
But
Not
yeah,
by,
I
not
think
by
I'll
a
go with
lot.
New Orleans,
It'll be
and
a close game, but I'm picking New Orleans.
it's tough. It's tough.
I think you and I are gonna have a much better week this week than we did last week, though. I got a good feeling. A good feeling.
I hope so too. It's also just some easier picks, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, but then we have Niners at Browns.
PJ Walker is going to be starting at quarterback for the Browns this week.
To me, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's him,
If it's Dorian
DTR,
Thompson-Robinson or Deshaun Watson. San Francisco,
whether
by
it's
50.
DFT.
Okay. So I was gonna say the
Uh,
line on this game isn't that big, but it's probably because Cleveland's coming off a bye. But
doesn't matter.
the line is
Also,
only they're only giving San Francisco 5.5 points, probably because it's in Cleveland and they're off a bye. But I think they're gonna win by more than
also
that.
Browns and Cowboys have comparable defenses,
Yes.
and honestly, at this point, comparable offenses. And we just saw what happened last game.
Yeah, I think the game's a
So
little closer just because
Niners,
this is the NFL and
the
that's how
emotion
it
for the
works.
Niners isn't going to be there that it was for the
But
Cowboys.
I still think they take this one.
Oh, they still
Yeah,
win.
they take this one.
They see Myles Garrett. They're going to still stand up for it, but they'll win. But then we have Seahawks at Bengals at Cincinnati,
The only thing keeping me
and
from picking Cincy outright is that
Burrow's back. Burrow's back.
Seattle's coming off a
Bengals.
bye, and
Book
that's
it.
my only
Burrow's
concern.
back.
My only concern is that Seattle just had a bye week. Seattle's had an extra week to prepare for this game.
Don't care. Don't care. Burrow's back.
You've convinced me.
Burrow's back. It's
You've
at home.
convinced me.
Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard.
You've convinced me. You've
Burrow's
convinced
back.
me. All right. Now this one,
It sucks because that is a good team. I wish it was a bad team that we
Yeah.
can continue like him ramping up, but
yeah.
it's whatever.
Now this is one of the best matchups this week. It's not my pick.
Commanders at Falcons.
This is an interesting game.
It's tough because it's at home, and apparently Desmond Ritter
Oh, doesn't
is
lose
just
at home.
you just can't beat him.
I think it's gonna happen this
But
week.
it's tough because it's Ron Rivera's always gonna hold me back from picking the Commanders.
Well,
but I
not
think
even him. Jack Del Rio is the biggest liability on this coaching staff. To be quite honest with you,
but I think I'm with you on Commanders
I
winning.
think it happens this week.
I
And
think
I like both
Sam
of those
Howell
teams.
darts around that dome.
Yeah. Imagine if the
But
Falcons
then
had taken Sam
Patriots-
Howell, they'd be in a much better spot right now.
But then Patriots at Raiders, Mike McDaniel versus Bill Belichick, and I still don't like the Raiders,
Josh
but I think
McDaniels.
I'm gonna have them go.
Josh McDaniels,
What did I say?
Mike McDaniel.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, I'm gonna. Somehow I'm gonna have the Raiders go 3-3 to start the season.
See,
'Cause
I know.
I
I just said I'm not gonna pick New England again this year, but am I
Dude.
really about to pick a Belichick assistant to beat?
to beat Belichick,
Well, other than a
I'm-
Belichick assistant not named Mike Vrabel.
right?
Well, Grant, I think Joe Judge and Matt
Vrabel
Patricia
never-
both beat him actually.
Vrabel never coached.
Well, okay, he played for Belichick for a long time. He's
Yeah.
a Belichick disciple in the sense that he approaches football in a similar manner to the way Belichick does.
Yeah. But
But
to me, I don't like the only thing I don't like the Patriots right now. But I still like Devontae Adams. I still like Josh Jacobs. Jacoby Myers is playing great. Revenge game for him. Jimmy G playing the Patriots. We got a lot of revenge stuff going on the Raiders side that just persuades me to just pick them.
God. The Patriots' point differential average this season is negative 15.2. Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Come on, use your brain. You can do this,
I'm gonna go. Fuck, dude.
and you got to lock in with whatever it is,
I
unless
know.
an
I
injury
understand
happens.
that. Well, that's the thing. There's a shit ton of injuries in that. I'm gonna say the Raiders, but I just know New England's gonna win this one. I just
pick
know
them
it's
if
gonna
you
happen.
think that.
Fuck it. I'm
If
going
you
New England.
feel like they're
I'm
going to
going
do
New
it,
England,
pick
but
them.
if they lose, I'm genuinely not picking them again for the rest of the season.
All right. Thank you for that one.
Yeah.
And then we have Cardinals at Rams. I still like the Cardinals for like being a bad team,
Very much so.
but give me the Rams.
At some point, the Rams are just gonna have to start winning more games, and I think it happens.
And it's
this
weird. Like, hey, Jonathan Gannon, you've earned another year. I mean, you haven't actually earned another year, but if the team keeps looking this way as it goes on,
He's not getting fired. He's
No.
not getting fired. They've been too competitive with a bad roster for him to get fired. They don't even have their starting quarterback in there because Kyler.
Yeah, I was about to say though,
been
and it sounds like they're going to somehow get rid of Kyler, so he'll get
you can get another
his-
first round pick.
a
out of it.
quarterback.
So like
maybe
you figure something out.
they own their first round pick, right?
Yes, and they own Houston's.
Right. So he's going to be able to get a quarterback and somebody else and then have a quarterback to point to and be like, let me
Yep.
keep working with this. So yeah, But then we have Lions at Bucks.
This is my matchup of the week right here.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about matchups of the week.
This is mine.
Um, what? Let me scroll back and see if I'm missing. Oh, mine would actually probably be Bengals Seahawks.
That's fair. That's fair.
Just because, can the Seahawks defense do what they did against Daniel Jones to Joe Burrow? I don't think so. But Joe Burrow has been hindered a little bit. So we'll see. I'm just going to give a little synopsis of why this is my matchup of the week. We're just seeing two really good teams playing against each other. One trying to get rid of its early season woes against another good team.
Yeah.
So the Seahawks Bengals will be my matchup of the week. I'm going Bengals. But now back to your matchup of the week, Lions and Bucks.
Yeah. I'm taking Detroit to win this one. Though I think Tampa keeps it very, very close, and even I have a hard time not picking Tampa
I think
in
it's
this
close
game.
regardless.
Yes, I do have a hard time not picking Tampa in this game, just because I feel like there's definitely a formula for them to win this one, for sure. But
They are capable,
yes,
but for me, this Detroit team is for real.
yes,
And I mean, like, I'm I have to see them play a Niners, a Philly, something like that. But
yes.
I'm really starting to think that they should be in that conversation.
I
If there
think
was a team that
they're,
should trade for Patrick Surtain, it's the Lions.
especially with the Emmanuel Mosley news that he just tore immediately after coming back from an ACL tear, tears the other one.
Jesus, that is tough. But
Former
I
Vol,
think
by
the
the way,
Lions
it
should
hits
make
home for
that move
me.
for Surtain.
Yeah,
Who I think the Lions should make that move for Surtain.
yeah,
They have the edge rush. They have the front seven player that they need with Aiden Hutchinson.
hmm
Get a back end guy. You have the offense. Like, you are contending in my mind right now. Go get Surtain.
I think they're
I'm
on
gonna
the
pick the
cusp.
Lions.
I think they're just on the outside of like the Super Bowl bubble. But if a trade for
You're
PS2
probably
might
right.
might just put them in. You know what I mean? Like
You're
that's
probably right.
well, we just need to see them do it against like. I mean, obviously we
Yeah.
saw them beat Kansas City week one, but you don't have any film on anybody in week one, so it's always a little different. You know, like
Yeah.
nobody is the same team in week one that they're going to be come playoff time. So
The one in like 15 Jags.
the
one
one
week
in week one,
one.
yeah. So
Yeah.
against a Colts team that went on to win 11 games.
Mm.
Unless I'm thinking, wait, hang on. Was it 2020 the Colts won
Colts.
11 games? Was 20? Wait a minute. 2019 was Philip Rivers or 2020? 2020 was Philip Rivers. Never mind. Yeah, 2020 was Philip Rivers. So, um, so yeah, they went on. The Colts went on to win 11 games that year.
Been fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you said you pick Lions, right?
Yes, I've got Detroit winning this game.
Okay. And then we have Eagles at Jets. Tough because Jets coming off a really good win, but I mean, can I see that, like, what, 2 quarters, that one half total,
Mm-hmm.
Zach Wilson that I saw against the Chiefs? Can I see that guy?
God, I hope
I don't
so.
trust that I can. So I would love to, because I would love for the Eagles to lose against the Jets, but I got to go with the
Excuse me.
Eagles.
Yeah, it's
As
got to
much
be
as I
Philly.
hate it.
Philly for now.
Another easy pick, we have Giants at Buffalo.
Yeah, Giants
Coming
are
off a
another
loss.
team where it's really hard to pick them to win it. Buffalo's favored by 14. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't hate it. That's very fair. The Giants are
Uh,
terrible. Um,
I'll pick the Giants to cover.
what are your thoughts on Brian Daboll right now? By the way,
I just
curious.
I don't I don't blame him.
I'm with you.
His
I don't
best
think it's
offensive
entirely his
weapon
fault.
is out in Saquon Barkley. Daniel
Yeah.
Jones is, I don't know how much say he had in the Daniel Jones signing. Um, I bet he wanted him back just because they had that one good year together, but
hmm
it doesn't look like he wants him anymore on the sideline. So I really don't
Well, you're
blame
locked
Dayball.
in for a
I
little bit
wish.
here.
Yeah, they're screwed. They're screwed by doing that. But if they could just try to get Daniel Jones a legitimate wide receiver one,
Yeah,
instead of having their number one option be a tight end who's inconsistent.
yeah.
But yeah, Dayball, I'm not going to jump off ship after everyone was just singing his praises so highly a year ago.
I still really like
But I'm still picking.
Daboll.
I'm going to pick the Bills.
I like Daboll a lot still. However, I have definitely come down to earth on Mike Kafka. as somebody who I thought, could maybe even be a head coach within the next couple of years after what he did last year with the offense, because he was the play caller last year, and
Mm,
it worked. But Kafka this year, not nearly as impressed with him. Um,
mm,
he's a guy like I would, as a football fan, I wouldn't hate to see him get let go, maybe. Um, so I've definitely come down to earth on him, but Dayball, I don't feel bad about Dayball at all. He made the playoffs year one. He won a playoff game. Like they were not expected to do either of those things, not by any stretch. So also,
yeah.
Evan Neal has not been what I thought Evan Neal would be awesome, and he has not been anywhere close to that. He's been a liability.
Nope.
He's been Dennis Daly, but in New York, and it's bad.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you're going Bills.
Yes, 100%.
If I had to, yeah. And then Cowboys at Chargers.
The Kellen Moore Bowl.
You know, uh, I'll stick with my team. Also, it's at LA, but like that's gonna be a home game for the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm also gonna stick with your
Um,
team, but not by much.
it it's just because as much as I just talked so poorly about Mike McCarthy,
Mm-hmm.
we've been saying that stuff about Brandon Staley for a while.
Yep.
So
Well,
at
hang on
least
now.
Brandon Staley's not calling
Hang on
plays.
now. Brandon Staley off a bye. Brandon Staley with prep time now. You better be careful.
Also, a pissed off Micah Parsons.
Yes. Pissed off Micah
Uh,
is a good player.
pissed off everybody. I'll stick with the Cowboys. My God, dude, if they lose that game,
Yeah, I've got Dallas for sure.
Also, Mike Williams is out. I don't know who else is out for the Chargers. Let me take a peek. It says Herbert's questionable. Is Eckler going to play? I mean, I bet Herbert plays, but he'll be fine. But does Eckler play? It says Derwin James is questionable. Joey Bosa is questionable.
Wait a minute. Eckler, James, and Bosa on the injury report say it ain't so.
But yeah,
I hate it. I like
I'm,
all
I'm
three of those
going.
players, but it's just that they are literally always on it.
Yeah, but yeah, so
Sucks.
I'm going Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm also going
So
Cowboys.
let's see if I can extend my 3-point lead, or if you can close the gap this week.
We shall see.
We shall
We
see.
were mostly we picked very. I think we only differed on like two games. That was Tennessee, Baltimore, and then New England Raiders. I think everything else we had the same picks. Not gonna be a
Think
not gonna
so?
be a very not gonna be a very.
Um,
This week won't move the needle much for either of us.
no. Well, I mean, you could make it a 1 point
Yeah, if I'm right on
difference.
both of those. In general, this like the goalpost is
No,
not
but
getting moved that much.
this is a marathon. We're not sprinting.
Yeah, it's not. It's only week. It's week 6. It's week
Yeah,
6.
but hey,
We got 18 of these bitches. So
if I'm now like 5 ahead next week, it just you can't let it spiral.
yeah, I'm with you.
But
So
yeah, do you want to talk fantasy?
I would love to. I'll be quick.
So
Be very quick.
yeah, you can go
So
first.
um, say I got my ass whooped. I lost by 20.
Oh,
20.14.
lucky you.
Anthony Richardson less than 5 points. Christian McCaffrey a decent day, but only 13.8 for a guy who had 5 touchdowns last or four, however many he had, whatever. You want more?
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift 16.8. I mean, I can live with that every week from Swift. Ridley, welcome back. It's good to see you. 20.6. I do that again. Michael Wilson, only one catch for 18 yards, did not have the continued breakout I thought he would thus far. Dalton Kincaid, only 2 catches, 19 yards. I think he got hurt in this game as well because he's questionable now for this next week. And then I started Madison at flex. He had a reception touchdown. He had 12.6 points. I can live with that. Philly defense,
Yeah.
7 points. Riley Patterson, 6 points. I had Drake London on my bench. Excuse me. And
Ooh.
if I had started Drake
You had a
London,
good game, right?
yeah, he had a pretty good game. He had 6 catches for 78 yards, so PPR game for sure. He had 14.68 points. If I had started London and Pickett, I would have won this game, but I don't really like doing that as far as like. Also, Luke Musgrave, had I played him instead of Kincaid, which I think I'll do this week, regardless of the injury news. But
Yeah, he had 7 targets, so that's like
with
he didn't
six
have a lot of
catches,
yards, but 7.
6 catches for
But
34
like the
yards, I feel
targets
good.
he's getting,
Yeah.
yeah,
Burks, of course, 0 points on the bench. Higgins also 0 points on the bench because they didn't fucking play. Charbonnet was on bye. Clyde the Glide had 4 yards. Um, so I'm getting rid of him. Zach Moss is a free agent in my league. I don't know what the waiver wire order is, but if I can pick up Zach Moss and dump
Oh,
Clyde the Glide, like I'd
we'll
feel
get
pretty
into
good
my
about it.
Zach Moss stuff.
I'll feel pretty good about it. But yeah, that's my week. Not a great one, but hopefully we'll bounce back.
Yeah. So, for the Gabe League, the league I play Gabe in, I
Oh, I
lost by
forgot.
like,
Pickett's on bye, so I'll have to drop him for. I'm trying to get Bryce Young right now.
hmm. But yeah, I lost by like 50 points. I had
Yep.
117. My opponent had like 165. Because I played Justin. I played a guy. I played against Justin Fields and Brees Hall. Yeah, Brees Hall.
Brees Hall.
Yeah. The disappointments. Let's see. Lamar Jackson had under 10 points. Bijan had like 10 points. Alvin Kamara had 18. Jordan Addison had
Nice.
18. That's good enough. Nico Collins only had 7 points.
Get ready for an even
Darren
bigger
Waller
Addison
finally.
game.
Oh yeah, he's starting next week for
Yep.
sure. Darren Waller finally had like a really good tight end game for me and gave me about 17 points.
Yep.
Devontae Adams only had like 8.5. Devin A Chain had 20.5, but he's now hurt.
Yep.
Which will help me in another league, which we'll talk about next.
Right.
Daniel Carlson, I'm finally giving up on him. I'll be switching kickers. He only had 3 points. The Ravens defense gave me 4 points. I expected
Granted,
a little more just
one of
because.
his kicks got blocked last night.
Yeah, but he's just not getting the volume I need.
Not the volume he's had
But
the
yeah,
last couple
that's that
seasons,
league. I still like my 2 teams that I'm going to talk about. I think I'm like the best 3-2 teams you'll see.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not anymore with some injuries.
Actually, my 3-2 team is the best 3-2 team in the world.
But yeah, this other league is super embarrassing because my bench. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't know what I was thinking. But Anthony Richardson was my quarterback, 7 points. Brock Purdy was on the bench, 35 points. Kyron Williams, 7.7 points, not good. I was busy Mondays. I wasn't updating stuff, so I had Aaron Jones playing, who didn't play at all. And then Justin Jefferson, 5.8 points, got hurt, so that sucks. Puka Nacua gave me 20 points, so he did his thing. Hunter Henry gave me 0 points. Jalen Waddle gave me 15. He did enough. Brandon Ayuk only gave me 10. Justin Tucker gave me 4 points. Justin Tucker, I kind of want to move on from because he's just not doing good
I
fantasy
feel
wise.
like only 10 from Brandon
But
Ayuk
that's so tough to do.
Only 10 from Ayuk feels like a recalibration of expectations because Brandon Ayuk just had a really hot last few games. So, I mean, 10 points from a wide receiver is still a decent amount of production. Like, you can live with it. You want more, but you can live with it.
Not with what my bench is. But then I did have the Saints defense, who gave me 28 points. The defense was my highest scorer.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen.
That's
yeah,
like
I said, Brock Purdy was on the bench.
Does to a man.
Brock Purdy was on the bench with 35 points.
Mm-hmm.
But Raheem Mostert was also on the bench with 15.8. I could have used that.
Mm-hmm.
And then here, I'll say the other two. Luke Musgrave, 9.4. I needed him. And then Tank Dell, 9.3. He would have been on the bench if I perfectly managed my team, but even he would have been an improvement of some of the things I had. But now for the biggest embarrassment.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Taylor came back. And I thought to myself, okay, they paid him. This was the biggest thing, was they paid him. So I didn't expect Zach Moss to do much.
Oh, brother. So you had him on the bench.
Zach Moss was sitting on the bench at 42.5 points.
I made money betting the Jonathan Taylor under on rushing yards.
Good for you. I would have liked that tip.
All right. I'm sorry. I couldn't.
Oh my
he
God.
just come back from the injury. They weren't going to rush him back.
Yeah. But next week, I'm looking at my team. I got Brandon Ayuk and Puka Nacua as my wide receivers. I don't know why I started there. Brock Purdy at quarterback. I don't care that it's Cleveland. I think that Cleveland will give them the ball enough in short field that he'll have plenty of fantasy points. I think Kyron Williams has a better week against Arizona. Raheem Mostert with A-Chain out. Or
Yep. A-Chan.
A-Chan, sorry. A-Chain is in my head.
Fake A&M fan.
Everybody called him A-Chain. Even on the broadcast
I
there,
know.
it was A-Chain.
I know. It wasn't Devin A-Chan until after he was drafted, but
Yeah.
yep.
A-Chan. But now that he's out, Raheem Mostert starting for me is going to be huge. Him, like I said, Ayuk, Nakua, tight ends. I'm waiting for waiver wires to hit because Luke Musgrave is on a bye, and then I think I'm going to be trying to swap him out for like Logan Thomas.
Oh, I guess I have to start Kincaid then.
Yeah.
I might be ready to drop
Jalen Waddle and Zach Moss are going to be my flexes. Justin Tucker, I'm keeping him as my kicker, and then Saints defense maybe against the Texans. I don't think they repeat what they did, but they just did so much.
Right.
I'd have a hard time dropping them. I'll see if whoever. I mean, I don't. Kind of am tempted to go with the Raiders defense against New England just because of what New England is.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the waiver wire, like they're available. Yeah, I'm getting to a point where I might just be headhunting every team that plays New England and starting their defense.
Yeah.
But I might just stick with the Saints. Let me see who they play next week. Let me see how dumb it would be if I dropped them. They play the Texans, and then they play the Jags, Colts, Bears, Minnesota. I'll hold on to them. There's enough there.
Yeah, there's potential.
But I still think I have championship caliber teams, but I just need to manage my team better. It's just I think I still would have lost, but if I had managed my team better, maybe I could have won, but I probably still would have lost. But I was just kind of out of it this week for obvious reasons. I won't have that next week, but we'll see.
Right. I have a furry friend in my arms now.
I don't need to know what your sex life is like, buddy.
Whoa.
I got a furry friend.
No, it's just a cat. Hi, buddy.
But yeah, did you want to talk about college football at all?
Tennessee was on a bye. I don't really give a
I'll be honest,
but
I never really care too much about the college football talk.
There was a couple of things I can throw in here just for the sake of it. Arizona took USC down to the wire. It was an overtime game. It was like quadruple overtime or something like that.
Yeah, I saw
that game. That was a good game. Oklahoma beat Texas. So, good job, Oklahoma.
I saw that final drive live.
That was awesome.
That Oklahoma final drive was beautiful. That was genuinely beautiful to watch.
Notre Dame lost again. Louisville beat them, and for Notre Dame
tough.
Notre Dame is favored to beat USC this weekend because of how bad USC's defense has been, and the fact that they've played down considerably. I think USC
is that game of the week.
Probably. I don't know. There's probably a couple of games. Wait a minute. Hang on. Is it Penn State, Ohio State this week? Because if so, that's game of the week.
I'll look. You talk about the other things that happened. I'll look it up.
Okay, so for some reason I'm thinking that's this week. It might not be, but Louisville. You gotta love what Braum is doing at Louisville. Obviously he wanted to be there. That's his alma mater. That's why he left Purdue. But they're doing fantastic this season. So really, the ACC in general has been a very fun conference.
It's not Ohio State. Penn State. It's Ohio State, Purdue.
Okay.
The other game of the week and then Penn State versus UMass, but Oregon, Washington.
Oregon, Washington is definitely huge. That's probably game of the week.
Yeah, that's 8 and 7 going up
because
against each other.
Notre Dame's playoff hopes at this point are dashed. You have 2 losses.
2 losses.
You're
done.
You're done. Whereas Oregon and Washington both have hopes of winning the Pac-12 and also going to the playoff this year. So I would say game of the week. Because also it's Bo Nix versus Michael Penix. That's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
But also
that has draft implications.
Sam Hartman versus Caleb Williams is also going to be a good time. But either way, it's a good week. Of course, we've got your A&M Aggies coming to Knoxville to play my Tennessee Volunteers. You said earlier we're going to win. I agree with you. I think we're going to win.
This was the first game we missed Connor.
For the full game, and it looked like it.
Yeah, this is the first because Max Johnson has looked great when
Yeah.
he's been playing, but that's the last game against Alabama.
Yeah.
He did not. I
Um,
saw some of that game. Saw that we were up. It was cool.
yeah.
Went in to deal with my sister, seeing my cousin or my nephew for the first time. Came back. We were down. I turned the TV off.
Yeah. I'm expecting James Pierce to have another 2 sacks. I just have a feeling James Pierce will have 2 sacks again this week. And also, I think
Yeah,
having a week
but
off, I think Tennessee's passing attack will look at least a little bit better. Like, you're not going to see as many drops or as many overthrows this week. It's not going to be what it was like the last 2 seasons, but we're going to see a little more cohesion, I think, from this offense as a unit in the passing game. And of course, the running game's going to be as good as it always is. But yeah, that's about it. I also don't care too much for the CFB talk because it's not really either of our thing. It's just it's fun to talk about talk about my Vols and then some of the bigger games. But yeah, that's it
yeah.
for me. I'm with you there. We can go ahead and move on.
So we're gonna move on to our top three of the week.
Yes, sir. Now our top three
All
this
right,
week.
ladies and gentlemen, top three of the week is give it away, Jacob.
Top three little things in life.
Ooh,
Now this one's
make
a
life
banger.
worth living.
I was in my bag when I came up with this one because
Great
if
pick.
you really think about it,
And for me,
this is what life's all
I'm
about.
trying to decide what's little.
Well, just I don't know. I don't want to give out like
We're
any
not
crazy examples
just
here.
things that aren't huge, like
But
marriage.
you know what I mean? Like, no, yeah, not like a milestone in life. Not like getting a promotion. Not graduating college or whatever.
I think the frequency matters.
Yeah,
How
frequency
frequently
as well.
this thing can happen. I
Yes.
think that plays a role.
Yeah, but I mean, typically it's not something super frequent. But it's something that happens
It's
every once in a
it's
while.
not
and
life-changing.
It gives you a really, but it's really pleasant for a multitude of reasons. It can be something good happens to you, or you see something nice. Like I don't know.
Let's just start off with our top threes. Do you have yours?
Well, as a
'Cause I don't.
Florida resident, we just had it on Sunday. The first 60-degree day of the year, when it finally reaches below 70 at some point during the day. It still hit 70, like high 70s later in the day, and it's going to be in the 80s all week this week. But when you finally
I
feel...
think I like the 70s more.
I like the 60s. Like, high 60s is where I'm at. High 60s, low 70s is ideal.
Okay. I was thinking
But,
low 70s, so I guess
really-
we're still kind of in the
Really
same
just
spot.
that first autumn day of the year in general, like, even out of decay, there is beauty. And I think that that's wonderful.
Okay.
Um,
So that's one of yours.
That's one of
Do you want to
my-
bounce back? 'Cause
Yeah.
Do you have a full three?
These are in no particular order. I have a couple. I think I have another one.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'll keep thinking because I only got one.
Actually, I might need a minute. I don't know if you want to bounce yours off real quick. We can go back
Okay.
and forth on this.
I have one, and to me, it's just a nice, hot, candlelit bath.
All right. Hell yeah. Hell
You
yeah.
know, that is I soak in there. I listen to some YouTube. I'm playing Sudoku.
Yep.
Just you know, getting all wet.
Yep.
Feeling great. It's
Feeling
my nightly
nice.
routine. I'll be away from it for a week, and it is probably what I'm looking forward to most getting back into when I get back home.
Candlelit bath.
Soaking, just soaking. Love
Hell
baths.
yeah,
Big
man.
bath guy. Big bath bombs, Epsom salts,
I gotta get into baths more.
bubbles. I love it all. I
That's
love
such a-
it all.
Such a crazy sentence. I gotta get
Burn
into
through
baths.
candles though. That's the tough part. I burn through candles quick.
Yeah. I gotta get into
I only
baths.
use one candle when I do it. I don't overdo it with candles, but
I got some candles
know.
too. I can hit this tomorrow.
hit it, dude. It's
Yeah,
nice.
I can hit this. Well, I gotta clean my tub a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's not like filthy. But I gotta clean.
Man, I just gotta attack West with dogs.
You got attacked by what?
Dogs.
Oh,
There's
hi,
one.
puppy. Oh, this is so precious. Hi, baby. Um, for this one's specific to
You
me.
got another
but
one?
It's when I come home from work and my cat starts purring and he wants to be picked up.
Oh yeah.
Because he loves being picked up, and as soon as I come home from work, that's the first thing. Now, some days I'll hold him for a little longer. Some days he's really hungry, he really wants to eat his lunch, and I have to put him down like half a second after I pick him up. Not because he doesn't want to be picked up, but because he just really wants to eat. And sometimes I will like pick him up again after I feed him. But
Yeah.
hi, sweet puppy. Oh, it's a
God
good
damn
dog.
it.
It's a good dog.
Get outside.
Hi, sweet boy. So I got a cat here in my lap right now. He's this is the cuddly. Sometimes he gets really cuddly like this, dude. Just in general, when he's
Yeah.
cuddly, that's a big thing for me. Because he doesn't sleep in the bed anymore. Unless sometimes when I'm taking a nap, he'll sleep in my bed. But when I'm going to bed at night, he never sleeps in my bed anymore. And he used to do it every night, so it sucks. But he'll cuddle with me on the couch when I'm watching
Yeah.
TV. He'll what do you call it? He likes to cuddle with me in my chair like he's doing right now, and
Mhm.
he likes to follow me everywhere I go. He's my little shadow, and it was
Yeah.
just
I
these moments with my cat are just some of my favorite things in life.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. When they came in, my second one immediately hit me, and then piggybacking off of yours now, like
Yeah.
when Dirk just cuddles up next to
Yeah.
me, because Dirk's not overly a cuddler, anyways.
Right.
Here's another one. Oh, it went out of camera.
Yep.
But yeah,
My Schnookums does like to cuddle for the most part.
because Dirk's not overly a cuddler, so when he does it, like that shit hits.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's two for me, two for you.
Yep. I got one more.
Mm.
That's how
Yeah.
top threes work. But when I haven't seen my mom in a while, and I get
Oh,
to eat
okay.
mom's cooking.
Ooh.
That is now I know
I,
I'm
I,
cheating
I
a
still
little
live
bit
with my
because
mom, so that's
I'm cheating a little bit because we use mom's cooking for like the foods, but
it's hey, if it works for both, it works for both.
like yeah, but like like I don't live with my mom. I live about 45, 50 minutes from my mom depending on traffic, and it's Tampa, so depending on traffic, it can mean a few things. Um, but I don't see her like all the time. I see her once or twice a month. So it's at a decent clip. Like I like how often I see my mom, but having not seen her for a while, and then I get to eat mom's cooking. Like hell yeah, my mom's a good fucking cook. Like she came over for the Bengals game, and she cooked while she was here. So it's just like that. Like hanging out with her, eating mom's cooking. It's good stuff. I like cooking for myself. I'm a decent cook, but she blows me out the water. So
Oh yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, this is what you grow up on. Like it's always gonna
yeah,
be
that too.
impossible
It's
to
it
like
just
top.
you feel safe. You know what I mean when
And
you're eating
it's
it.
like the nostalgia factor, and
Yeah,
like usually, like especially because it might be dying out now, but like
yeah,
it's still from a time when like, and I don't know how your family was or anything. I'm just saying like in a
yeah,
broad sense, like they're still coming from like when women like it was really emphasized like they have to cook.
yeah.
So like it's good food because of that, and then nostalgia. So
Thanks,
like
Schnookums.
it's just it
Yeah.
hits.
Well, my mom was a single mom for that because my dad lived out in a different state for a lot of my childhood growing up. So it was
Hmm.
yeah, it was my mom was doing her thing, but so she was cooking for us. Like I mean, she had to. I mean, nobody else could. So my dad's a good cook too, though. Like whenever I see him, he'll grill, and he's a wizard on the grill. But uh, but yeah, she's great. Shout out mom.
Oh, shout out to all yeah, shout out
Shout out
to
to
every
all the
mom that's
moms.
involved in their kids'
All the
lives.
moms, man. All the good moms
Shout out
nowadays.
to
Shout out to
and I
all of
got a
them.
notification. Shout out and this will be my third.
This will be your third.
When your sports team wins.
Yeah.
And I'm getting that because I just got a notification that the Rangers are crushing the Orioles. They're up 6-0.
Fuck yeah. Well, I'm not a Rangers or Orioles fan, but like good for
But
you,
it
I
just
guess.
yeah, it hit. I mean, I've never. I mean, I shit talk baseball, but like, I even when I was making fun of baseball, I still was like, the Rangers are my team. Whenever
Yeah.
because I'm just all in on Dallas teams, but it's only the second inning and we're up 6-0, which is a lot.
Yep.
And the Rangers have been good, which has been drawing me into baseball a little more.
Wait,
I'll still never be a fan of
it's
this.
only the second inning, and you're
Yeah,
up by
5 runs in
six.
the second.
And
Yeah,
you're up by
5 runs
six.
in the second.
That's a huge second inning for you guys. And good shit.
It's huge, and we're the lower seed.
Yeah.
We
And
beat them
didn't you
twice
guys? I
in
was
their
gonna say
home.
you've already beaten them as
Yeah,
well. I
a
know you
close
did.
one, and then another
Yep.
like win.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, that's going to be my three.
Schnookums.
My three were
Hey, Schnookums.
hot baths, dog cuddling up, and sports teams winning. Those are my
Yep.
three little things in life.
Hell yeah, man. All right. Well, I think I
Also, it's
like
kind of
this.
hard to make the list because
Yeah.
like it's like when they happen, you feel good, but it's not
Yeah.
like
It's not something that sticks with
penciled
you
into your
forever,
brain.
because it's just a little thing at the
Yeah.
end of the day. But it's um
So two of them I got the idea of just because of what was happening around me.
yeah. Like when your nephew's born. It's a little thing in life. It's a big thing. It's a very big
That's a
thing.
big thing.
Yeah, it's a
I
very
mean,
big thing.
he's a little thing, but
But the birth of a family member, yeah, big thing. Hi, Schnookums. Hi, Schnookums. I've been calling my cat Schnookums nonstop lately. I almost never call him by his
Schnookums.
name. He's just Schnookums now.
I, me and Dirk's relationship is funny because it's not like this. Because I feel like a lot of pet owner relationships, the owner is like so sweet to their pet,
Hmm.
and it's just like so lovey dovey. But I treat Dirk like a roommate, like that's or like my brother. Like the way I talk to him, I'm just like, and it's always jokingly. I'm never
Yeah.
serious, but I'm just like, your fat ass just lying around, not doing a goddamn thing.
I do that with Bowie a little bit. Like, what do you call it? You know,
Yeah.
cats like running water. Like, naturally, they like water that's moving. That's why sometimes they'll slap their water with their paw or whatever. Bowie will drag his water bowl to get the water moving, spill 3/4 of it on my floor in the process. So I've now resorted to putting a towel under his water bowl, and I'll tell him, I'm like, stop spilling your fucking water. But like, obviously, I'm not like angry. I don't like it's whatever. It's a very quick cleanup, but it's just like, like, hey, you're wasting what? Like, just drink the damn water. But or
Yeah.
when
Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. When Dirk dunks his head in the water, slaps it up, pulls back, and it's just dripping. That's why we don't
yeah,
have any water thing inside. It's all outside.
yeah.
He just makes a huge
Well,
mess.
Bowie's
Yeah.
biggest problem is like when he'll dig in his litter box to like create a hole for like when he pees or when he poops, but sometimes he doesn't dig, he scoops, and he scoops it and kicks it out behind him, and so it ends up all over my floor, under where my chair is, right? Like I can probably feel a few kitty cookies on my feet right now, and that's just the way it is, right,
Yeah.
Schnookums? Whose fault is that? Who did that? Who did that, Schnookums? Yeah,
I
you know what
think
you did.
I think our next week's top three should be the inverse of this, and it should be something like top three like
Pet
first world
peeves.
problems we experience
Yeah,
but absolutely hate.
yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that one. We should do the we should
Like
do the
such
opposite.
minor things that it's like it's not a big issue, but like when they happen, it just gets to us.
Yeah, Schnookums. Okay.
Yeah.
What
Did
we
you
got
want to move
next?
on to
Yes,
what we're on?
yes.
What we on?
What we on? Gen V. Been watching Gen V. I think I'm an episode
Haven't
behind.
started it.
It's really good. If you like the boys, you will like Gen
Dope.
V.
I love the
I feel
boys.
well. You're gonna love Gen V. It's really good. I think I'm an episode behind
Sweet.
actually, because I think one came out on Friday,
Okay.
so I might need to watch whichever one came out
Catch
on
up.
Friday to catch up. Yeah, and this of course they come out every Friday. Excuse me. I watched the first episode of Loki season 2. It's phenomenal.
Oh,
Banger.
need to
Absolute banger.
get on that.
Yeah, yes. Okay, you need to get on a few things. I finished Ahsoka, which I know I talked
Yeah.
about last week in the recording that didn't make it in. I know I talked about like the fact that the last episode had come out, but I hadn't watched it yet. I finished it. Overall, I think the show is decent. I have some problems with it, but it's worth a watch. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think at one point I'll start. It won't be like a weekend thing because it's way too much media to consume. But I'll start
Snuggles.
like a Star Wars rewatch,
Yeah,
and I think I'll go in chronological order, like in universe chronological order.
Yep.
But whenever I do show my kids this, and here let's make this a quick side question.
Yep.
What order are you going to show your kids Star Wars?
Original trilogy first.
For
Has to be.
me,
Has
yeah,
to be.
it has to be because if you see the prequels, it ruins some
You
of
know
the
what,
original
what
trilogy.
You know what the big spoiler. So
Yeah, it ruins the biggest reveal,
yeah,
one of the
in the
biggest twists
history of
in
cinema.
media ever.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
you gotta
huge.
let them see that.
And seeing Vader just as Vader,
Yeah.
like one of the best villains ever, like
Yes.
I don't know if it would get ruined because I don't know the perception, but like his on-screen
Well,
presence
yeah.
without knowing it is
I
insane.
do know the perception because I watched the prequels first growing up. So I can tell you firsthand, I wish I had seen the original trilogy first.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I got shown the original trilogy
Yeah.
first.
I
Because then
know
I think
for
my parents
sure.
didn't like the prequels, so they were like,
Yeah.
here's the originals. If you really liked this, there are more, but
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
watched the prequels first, and Yeah, in hindsight, yeah, it would have been cool to see the original trilogy first, for sure.
But yeah,
My kids are going to see the
and
original trilogy, for
yeah,
sure.
and then back to the what we're on. I haven't really been watching much this past week,
Hmm.
obviously, but weirdly enough, I did see Hoodwinked twice.
Fuck yeah,
I don't know if
fuck yeah. No,
I
I'm a
that movie is
big
so funny.
hoodwinked guy, big hoodwinked
That
guy right
movie's
there.
so
I'm
funny
with you. That
because I was
movie's
at my
phenomenal.
grandparents because I had watched my grandparents and I was sitting around. I was like, I need something to watch. Or I need something to do. I kind of already done all the stuff with the animals,
Yeah,
and I just had the urge to just watch Hoodwink because I had seen some memes about Hoodwinked in my feed.
yeah.
I watched it and I was like, this movie's so
That
funny.
movie fucks, man. Like I
It's
love Hoodwinked.
so funny.
I haven't
And
seen
then
it
I
probably
watched
in
it again with my
years.
sister
Yeah,
on the car ride here because it's just a long ass car ride, and I mentioned seeing it. And she was like, oh, "Yeah, that movie is good." So we watched Hoodwink on it
yeah.
here. That movie's so
I gotta
good.
watch Hoodwinked again. I gotta rewatch it.
Yeah. I want to see the second one. I've heard it's really bad, but I've seen it before in theaters. I
I
don't
think
remember
I've
how I
seen
felt
it
about it
once. I
then.
don't remember either, but I just know the
Yeah,
like Hoodwinked is it's
the
hilarious.
first
It's
one's so
phenomenal.
great, dude. Do you want to know something interesting? That movie had a budget of like $8 million. The animators had like no experience animating. They had to go to the Philippines to do it to save
Yeah.
money.
I mean, it's not the
It's an
prettiest movie
independent,
ever, but
no,
it doesn't look like abysmal,
independent
but
studio.
yeah, it doesn't look great.
Crazy voice cast though. Like independent studios,
Great voice
such a low
cast.
budget, crazy voice cast.
That's probably
Anne
that's where all
Hathaway.
the budget went.
Yeah, I know Anne Hathaway. I
Is
say his
red.
name wrong, but like Will Burton. What is his name? Guy who does Joe and Kronk
Patrick Warburton.
as
Patrick
Patrick
Warburton.
Warburton. I was trying to say like Will Burton,
Yeah.
but yeah, Warburton
Vader.
um,
Yeah.
as the Wolf, who is absolutely great in that movie. Probably my favorite character
Yeah.
is his. But yeah, I mean that movie is so good.
Yeah.
I feel like that's all I've been on because just been with family.
Yeah. Been listening to music, of course, as I always do. I'd be a real
Yeah,
music connoisseur.
yeah,
But
real Anthony Fantano over here.
I've actually been called Fantano in a group chat recently, so it's a problem. But
Anytime I see Fantano, I genuinely do think about
yeah,
you.
fair enough. I listen to um, what do you call it? I've been listening to my Spotify day lists like every single day for the most part because there's a lot of just really good music that I'm discovering through this. Like today I heard Night Shift by Lucy Dacus for the first time. I'm familiar with Lucy Dacus because I mean she's in Boy Genius and Boy Genius released her album earlier this year and I own that one on vinyl. It's sitting right behind me. But I've listened to the song about 20 times today. Like it is that good. And in general, the day list is a lot of fun because there's a lot of songs I am familiar with a lot of the time, and it's a lot of songs I really like. But then it's songs that sound like it or a similar vein or whatever, and I like most of what I've been hearing. So it's a fun experience. Like, you get to know new music. It sounds like what you already listened to. It's fun.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's where I'm at.
yeah. And then I'll just throw this out there because we talked about it in the recording that got lost. My apologies. It's on me.
Yep.
We
So
we lost some great footage, guys. Last
we
week, if you're
did.
wondering why last week's was so much
Yes,
shorter, we
yes.
lost great footage. And it's
We
on me. I
we were
well, I
basically
lost. We have Jacob's. Jacob's audio is fine.
yeah.
I could release the Jacob cut,
We were we were just shit posting basically for like the last half
dude.
hour,
It was
and
good, dude. Our best
it was
riffing
so good. That was easily the best like improv that we've ever
peak,
done on.
best improv, best. Oh, I don't think. I think I still like the sucking dick really gay.
Yeah, that was
That's still
probably
probably
our
my favorite
best. Well,
individual
that was
bit.
that was just one little moment. This was like half an hour
Yeah,
of just straight up gas
yeah.
that we lost. And dude, I think I took the trash out that night, and I'm coming back inside. I see my phone, and you're like, "Hey man, did you happen to record the footage?"
Well, because the first
My
text
audio
I sent
doesn't
was
work.
like,
I'm like,
I
"Fuck."
think the first thing I sent was like, I have what is it? Oh, I have depressing news.
I
Was the
have
first thing I
depressing
sent,
news.
and then I was like, your
Yes,
audio was recorded, but for some reason none of mine was in the second session.
yes.
Do you have any? Did you record by any chance?
I totally forgot to record
Yeah,
the session,
we're both
and
recording right now.
yeah, and even then we
We've learned.
we haven't had any issues with my recordings yet so far. It's only been yours
Yeah.
where sometimes it's not picking up somebody's audio or it's not picking up whatever.
Yeah.
But mine hasn't
I
had
think
that
I know
issue.
what the issue is with the desktop. Laptops had no issues.
No, your laptop's been good.
Um, until we lost the hour
Actually, yeah, I was
footage.
gonna say you recorded on your laptop, didn't you? When you went to
Yeah.
your grandparents, or no, you drove home.
Yep.
You drove home from
Yeah.
your grandparents.
Both times were with laptop though.
Okay, I don't know why it was different then,
Both times.
but
Yeah, that's why I really didn't think to check it too much. And I did look in your, because I remember I checked before we started that your audio was clicking. I didn't scroll down to see if mine was going, because I was like, because I've never had issues with it picking up my audio. It's always been having, it's on the desktop, but it's picking up your audio or picking up the desktop audio.
yeah, it sucks. Like I was so
Heartbreaking.
excited to record this week's episode, but I'm like, man, we're just never gonna get that back. Like you can't
No, but move forward.
you can't recreate. You can't try to redo like just a really good just shit post
Yeah.
that we ended up having. But like it's all we can do is put our best foot forward from here on out, and that's what we're gonna do. I feel good about it. So
I also feel better going forward. This week, I didn't feel as good just because like I'm not in my usual space. I don't want to be too long with this, but I'm not going to rush anything. But
right.
like the reason that session I think worked so well is we were both in really comfortable spots, and at least for me, I felt I had like no time limit.
Right. I
And
felt
that's
like
what made
we
it
could
feel
just
so
we could
good and
just go
free.
off. The only time
Yeah.
limit was a self-imposed one when you told me to go to bed. So
Yeah, I told you. You told me what time you have to get up, and I was like, Jacob,
I
we're
told
going
you
to bed.
I was clocking
But the reason I
in
brought this up,
in less than 7 hours, and you said go to bed.
yeah, but the reason I brought this up was to say, because we talked about it there, and I still think the plan is on. We just haven't had any details set yet, but we're going to do a Soul Link Nuzlocke Pokemon
That's right.
Red,
That's right. Yes, Pokemon Red and Blue.
which I'm looking forward to.
whichever
We'll
one we're gonna
probably
do.
we'll talk later, but we could probably start it next week when I come back from
Yeah.
South Carolina,
Hell yeah.
and I think we're both going to live stream it on our channels.
Yes.
And then those live streams will be up to view. I might edit down to like a highlight clip. I might do that depending on what happens. If there's just like standout moments that I would like to have out there, but
we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
we'll be on call. We'll be talking, so you could watch whoever's you want to watch. I know that I think this podcast performs better on Jacob's channel than it does mine. I think.
I don't know if my
But,
last one performed super well. We'll have to see.
How many views you get?
I'll have to check after this is done. I'm not sure.
Yeah. If it's double digits, it's more than me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're not even getting 10 views on these?
I got like 9.
They
I got
don't.
like
They
9
really.
or 8.
They don't. Your people don't fuck with you. That's insane. All right.
No, this is. I've told you this. My subscriber count is YouTube short built.
Okay, fair enough.
I told you, but even then, like, it might be a thumbnail thing because, like, my Wii vaults, they at least hit 30.
Yeah.
I think it's a thumbnail thing because I'm looking at them like
Ow.
I could see that the thumbnails I put more info. Also I don't post it or share it anywhere besides like my Instagram story.
Yeah, I guess fair enough.
Like so. I don't know. I could be doing more to promote it, but I'm
I
so
could
glad
be
that
as
my
well, quite honestly.
dude. I'm just looking at my Wii Vault, my Star Wars The Force Unleashed Wii Vault video.
Yep.
Oh, it performed really well, which I'm so glad for. It has 250 views.
I still have not watched. I need to tap in.
Oh, dude. I think each Wii Vault has been better than the last.
Your Wii
The
Vault's
Wii Play one only has 31, but I like my editing on that one. And the new series dropping this weekend, I'll be editing it up in the car. I just was missing footage from, not from my end, but like from a movie to put in it to do it.
Yeah.
But the Oscars, each video is looking at the decade of the Oscars, looking at the Best Picture winners.
Yeah.
First one will be coming out this weekend, looking at the 2 films from the 1920s Oscars.
We
Which
need
is-
a Wii Sports
excited
Resort
about.
Vault. By the way.
Maybe. I think Wii Sports period has to go. I have a Wii Sports video on the channel, but it's just not the same as Wii Vault.
Yeah.
Now that I have like
What are you doing, Mister?
an established series, so I'll
What are
probably
you
look back
doing?
on that one first. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait a minute. You see this?
Whoa, you got to just start positioning your chair differently when we do this.
Holy shit. Yeah. You see Schnuckles back there too, right?
Yeah, I can. I've always been able to like
Schnuckles.
see him
The problem
vaguely.
is,
But this is
I need to have my
the
head in
best
front of my
I've
lamp.
ever seen you.
I need to have my head in front of my lamp. That's what I need to do.
Yep.
Because look, if
People
my
can't
lamp
see
is
what just
visible,
happened, but it is just
my lamp's
it
not
is an
visible.
insane difference. I can actually see his
Can
face.
see my
The
handsome
entire
face.
time we do this,
Schnuckles.
I'm not trying. The entire time we've been doing this, I'm always like very visible. Jacob,
Very much so.
he's like sometimes. There's been like one time
As
he was
soon
like
as
decently
as soon
visible.
as the sun goes down, it's over.
It is
over.
a just a
Yeah.
silhouette. I'm talking to a silhouette. I am
Yeah.
lit up like not perfectly, but I'm lit up very well, very visible. I talk to a silhouette of a man. But now
He
I
does his
actually
best.
see Jacob.
Actually, while your light was off, there wasn't even a silhouette. It was just hollow.
I was pitch black.
It was
I was
hollow.
pitch black.
It
Yeah,
literally it took 10 minutes for the light to completely leave. By the way, when you said get ready for the light to go, it took 10 minutes. That Schnuckles.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But yeah, I almost made a point of it during the pod, but I didn't. Yeah, we were just talking football, so I just kept it going. But like I thought to myself, hey, Jacob, this is the first time we're both so unvisible right now.
Ow! Yeah, we really. Ow! Dude, what the fuck? He just keeps biting my arm. Why are you so orange? Ow! What the fuck? Okay, you need to get down. You need to get down. Go. Think
Dylan
about-
Brooks has been ejected from his Rockets preseason debut. I don't know what happened. I don't care to know what happened.
You don't need to know what happened. It's Dylan Brooks.
So Dylan
you know it was
Brooks.
deserved. It was deserved.
Aggressively, Dylan Brooks
Welcome back.
getting
Dylan.
ejected in a preseason game.
It's never that serious. It's never that serious. But
No.
to Dylan it is. So that's
No.
Dylan. That's Dylan Brooks. That's classic vintage Dylan Brooks. That's what he is.
Yeah.
So
But I think we've gone over everything that we wanted to talk about.
yeah, I think I'm ready to go make some dinner.
Yeah.
So I
they made dinner.
I wanted to try to get to bed at a reasonable hour tonight. So
Dude,
we'll see
like
what I do.
30 minutes into this, my sister pokes her head out and she's like, dinner's ready. And I'm like, I'm not eating for a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, you go eat whatever's left if they saved you anything.
Yeah.
And then I'll go make some chicken here real quick, and then
Yeah.
I gotta feed my schnookums as well. So
I'll probably just upload the Cowboys section as its own video.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's 9/11. Damn. Tragic.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah,
Brayden, are you
had a
today's
great
date?
10 out of 10.
You're a 10 out of 10, man.
No. Shucks.
Yeah, I think that'll do it for us tonight, folks. Anything?
Yeah,
any,
I had a
any
great
parting
time.
thoughts for us, good sir? Any parting
I will
thoughts?
just say that I had a great time.
Mhm.
I feel like me and Jacob's chemistry on camera and recordings has gotten just so much better as we've done this. So
I
that
feel
it's
like,
really, I'm really looking forward to a new series with him in this.
I'm feeling like
Pokemon Nuzlocke.
we're Ryan Tannehill and DeAndre Hopkins right now. That's how I'm feeling.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of, I had one parting thought about,
Yeah.
you know, like there was the narrative when we signed Hopkins that, oh, Tennessee is where wide receivers go to die, like Randy Moss, Andre
Fair.
Johnson, Julio Jones. Yeah, but I feel like helmet scouting in terms like if DeAndre Hopkins had signed with like Kansas City, nobody would say, oh, he's washed. But as soon as he signs with Tennessee, it's whatever. It's like, well, he'd be the same player regardless of where he signs. It's not going to make him any better or worse of a player, right? But anywho, the point I'm making here is, and also the Titans have attempted to get Derrick Henry a true complement in the backfield with the signing of Deion Lewis, the drafting of Darrington Evans, the drafting of Hassan Haskins.
I think you made this point last time.
Yes,
right?
but what I'm saying is I'm comboing them together. Not only do we finally have a wide receiver, a veteran wide receiver that we signed that's contributing big, we have also found a complement to Henry. So after missing, like going like 0 for 2 on the wide receivers in the last couple of years with Julio Jones and Robert Woods, and going 0 of 2 in the last couple of years, or probably last Darrington Evans was 2020, so yeah, like the last 3 years now, 2 misses in 3 years on running backs with Hassan Haskins and Darrington Evans. We finally signed a veteran, or acquired, because we traded for Woods and Jones, a veteran wide receiver who is contributing, and we finally got Derrick Henry a real compliment.
Yeah.
So
If only I had
we
AJ
have-
Brown.
if only If only. Man, that is still top 10 worst things to ever happen in human history. Yes, of any event to ever occur in human history, it's definitely it's up there if you're a Titans fan. But uh, is football really going to be the last thing I talked about? We spent like an hour and a half talking about football. I want to talk about something else for a second. I love you, man. You're a good dude. I like
I
doing
love you
this
too.
with you. I like that we're doing this
I'm having
together.
so much fun
I
with
like
this.
that we're being consistent with this.
Yep. Every Tuesday we
Yeah.
record. Every Wednesday they go out.
Well, only one
Except for that
Wednesday
one
we've
week.
had to record on a Wednesday, and then we've still got it out on a Thursday in time before the game. So,
Yeah.
you know,
The biggest thing of it coming out before the new football season starts, or
yes,
football week starts.
yes,
That we
that
haven't
is
missed
our
on.
that is like we did that's like
Ultimate
the
goal.
ultimate. Yeah, Wednesday's ideal, Thursday's manageable as long as it comes out before 8:15 p.m. Eastern or whatever. Ideally, a
Yeah.
few hours before, but definitely not during the
Yeah.
game. Nobody's gonna watch a football podcast during an NFL game for the most part. I'm sure somebody out there, but
I mean, watch along live streams,
yeah.
definitely,
Well,
but not
honestly,
podcast.
I like hearing Brett Coleman and EJ talk about football sometimes more than I like watching it, just because of how excited they get. Like I have more fun. Like especially during they did the Bears live stream. Are you familiar with Malort? The liquor Malort?
No.
It's like I don't know if it's technically like a liqueur or if it's a whiskey, but it's like basically Malort tastes like shit. It's really bad and it's
Okay.
like really sticky. Like it's awful. It's a horrible experience. And Brett decided initially he was going to take a shot of Malort every time the Bears did something comically bad, but EJ was like, "No, you're gonna be super drunk. Just take a shot next every time they score instead." And the Bears scored 40. Oh my god! So Brett probably had close to like 8.5, 9 shots of Malort, and unfortunately I didn't get to watch this live, but I saw it like at work the next day that Brett had taken a shot of Malort, and I'm like, holy fuck, this guy drank Malort for the Bears game every time they scored, and they just had the game they did last night. Like, I gotta see this. And he had a different, like, negative note every time he sipped it, but the first one was this just tastes like fuck, I don't remember, but somebody in the comments like made like a reference list of like timestamps and what Brett's review was at each timestamp. So like I had a fun time watching that. That's a funny stream if you want to check that one out. Obviously, it's like 4 hours long.
I might check that out. Just
Bump
through the timestamps.
But also, hearing Brett and EJ talk about football is so fun because they're always like they're almost never shitting on somebody, right? Like it's almost
Right.
always positive things, even when like a player's not perfect. It's like I like hearing them talk about the draft because they never talk about, for the most part, they're not like, oh, I'm super low on this guy, he's a fucking scrub. It's just they typically talk about guys that they're higher on, or maybe even guys that are the same as the consensus on, but they want to be like they'll tell you more like from a coaching standpoint, like, okay,
Right.
I want to see this guy go to this team because I know this coach is going to get a lot out of him. And it's like, I like that kind of football analysis because realistically, that's how teams approach the draft, right? Almost nobody goes into the draft going, let's just take the best player available at this position. Well, if there's two guys who are similar caliber players and one of them is a considerably better scheme fit than the other, even if you maybe have a slightly lower grade on him, you're taking the scheme fit if you believe in your coach at that side of the ball. Like if you have an established offensive coordinator and you believe in like a wide receiver scheme fit, you're taking that wide receiver over unless there's a huge separation in your grade, right? But I mean, like that's how teams approach the draft. So it's nice hearing them talk about the game from more of an NFL style lens, whereas most guys, you just give you their big board and, they'll give you their film analysis and whatnot, and that's still really informative. I still like hearing about it, but I like hearing about realistically where a guy could go and how he could get utilized within that system. I think that's fun. So I I like the Bootleg Football Podcast a lot. Yeah, only free shout out that will ever be given here on this.
I was gonna say, like, hey, let's
Yeah.
just
I know.
tunnel people
I know.
to
I
a different
said,
place.
well, hey, that's the beauty of a podcast is that they're all opinionated, and you get different opinions here than you'll get from Bootleg. So you can have
Yeah.
you can come to both and
You-
receive different.
You'll get me, who every single draft, I'm just high on everybody. I just like everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, those are great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there were
I was
like
like,
in
yeah,
this
talk your shit, Josh Rosen.
in this previous draft, there really wasn't any like absolutely just insanely terrible draft picks that are sticking out to me. Maybe I'm missing something. Like, I mean, Jameer Gibbs at 12 is pretty absurd,
That's a
but
usage thing.
yeah, if they were using him properly, or if they were
It's
using
just
him a
hard to
lot,
tell.
you'd think he'd be feel a little better about it. But I mean, even then, he's not the talent that Bijan is. Like, I'm okay with taking a Bijan caliber running back prospect top 10 because it's fucking Bijan. He's already the second best running back in the NFL, arguably, but I think he
Hmm.
is. And
I agree.
like you can take a guy top 10 if he's going to be that good. Like, I wasn't even mad when the Giants took Saquon Barkley over a quarterback with the second overall pick because Saquon Barkley was also that type of talent. And unfortunately, outside of health, that's the player that he's been since coming into the
Yeah,
league. So
yeah, that's true.
that's another thing. Like, I am okay with it, and we've seen what the Giants look like without Saquon Barkley. He matters to that offense
He matters a lot.
more so than most running backs do. And so, like, that's
Yeah,
the difference.
he might be the most valuable to his team
You
of
have
any
to
running back out
be
there.
well. We haven't seen the Lions without Bijan this year, but granted, with Algier last year, they looked pretty good. So I don't know. I guess it depends on who you have behind him. Obviously, the Giants.
But it's just like
the
I
Giants don't have a
don't think
Tyler
Falcons
Algier.
make the playoffs this year, even with Bijan.
Yeah.
The Giants made the playoffs last year with Saquon.
Well, also the NFC is much tougher this year. Nobody wanted that 7 seed last year.
Yeah,
This year it's a lot more
but
heavily
yeah,
contested. But I'm with you. But I mean, it depends
yeah,
on
I
who you
think
have behind him and how in terms of value. But either way, like, yeah, Saquon very valuable to his team. Obviously, we've seen it. We saw it last year. We're seeing it so far this year. All right, I think that's it, my
yeah,
friend.
yeah.
I think I've said everything.
I'm ready to go eat.
I'm also ready to go eat. I'm gonna feed my cat, make some chicken. Um, yeah, no, I feel good. So
All right, let's.
everybody, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back same time next week. So have a good week. We'll see you
Yeah,
guys on
it's a different place
Wednesday.
though. Episode. Next week's episode will be on my channel.
As always, of course, we are alternating these, so this one will be up on mine.
Alternate.
The channel link will be in the description for Brayden's channel. So if you haven't seen the previous podcast episodes, there's a backlog. You
Yeah,
can watch his. I think I'll after this video, I'll probably create a playlist and just put them all in it. But
I've been meaning to do that
yeah,
and
I have
putting it
as well. I
on
keep forgetting
like
about it, but we
the
should both
channel
do that on
tab.
our channels. Just make a playlist. But
Hmm.
anywho,
Well, one of us just has to make it, and then we both can, I think, can have it on our.
yeah, probably something like that. But that's
Yeah.
gonna do it for
Anyways,
us this
see you
evening.
guys.
So deuces.